See Home Club for details.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Autobell Car Wash has been trusted for 55 years for high-quality service. We'll clean your car from the inside out. Now through June 2nd, buy 2 Super Poly Process Wash tickets at any Autobell for just $55.
People can tell we knew Autobell.
Electricity flows through everything. Our movement, our passion, our drive. Ford connected the performance of a sports car with the thrill of an EV to create a pony tuned for exhilaration, engineered to give you an extra jolt of adrenaline. Feel something electric. The 2024 Mustang Mach-E SUV. Test drive one today at your Carolina Ford dealer. Available at Ford EV certified dealers only.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics, using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Sheencup. Dr. Sheencup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. 919-400-5473. With locations in Cary, Clayton, Raleigh, and Wake Forest. 919-400-5473.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Shoots, he scores!
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Kept in by Carolina. Jarvis with it. Svechnikov to the net. They score! Sebastian Aho! And the roof's gone at PNC Arena. And there's still time left here. As Martinook banks it in. He scores! Jordan Martinook with the steal and the finish. And it's 4-3 Carolina. What a comeback!
I'm sorry I can't hear. What? What happened?
Still ringing.
Wow.
So loud.
By the way, that's exactly how I began the podcast last night. No joke. It's exactly how I began the podcast last night.
That was real.
Yeah. That was one of the that was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
That the game last night at PNC Arena, absolutely one of those you will remember being there or where you were when you watched it forever. Because there are people who, like, they'll never forget watching the comeback from 3-0 down in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They'll never forget where they were during the miracle at Molson when the Hurricanes trailed the Canadiens, 3-0 in the third period of a game where if they lose, they go down 3-1 to the Montreal Canadiens, facing somebody who went on to win the MVP that year in Jose Teodoro. And the Hurricanes came back, won that, and then scored all the goals in games 5 and 6 and won that series in 6 games. That was in 2002. But this last night was one of those. And we talked about the series opener Saturday night in that it was a game that the Islanders played it the way they wanted to play it and probably should have won it, but they couldn't. They didn't take advantage of the opportunity to have a lead. And Frederik Andersen, who overcame what I thought was a relatively shaky first period, to use Trip Tracy's phrases, built a game, got better in the third, was the reason Carolina won. And so the Hurricanes got away with game one where they didn't play their game. And because hockey is this way, because the puck is flat, and there's, people and bodies and legs and all sorts of craziness on the ice.
It's slippery.
It is slippery. Through about 27 minutes, the Islanders had a 3-0 lead.
Yes.
And the game was sort of played the way Carolina wanted it to, except for about a 10-minute stretch, maybe a 12-minute stretch, where the Islanders controlled the game. When it went to 4-on-4 in the first period, through the end of the period, into the beginning of the second period. But for the most part, this was a game that was played the way Carolina wanted to play it. We'll get to the craziness in a second. But with Carolina even playing their game, where inside of 3 minutes to go, and it looked like the Islanders were going to win Carolina's game.
Yep.
Which would be maybe appropriate for how silly hockey can be sometimes. And then Aho, Martinook, 9 seconds apart.
Everyone. Noise.
Hearing.
Yeah.
Gone. Absolutely gone.
Yeah.
All right, we got a lot of stuff to do. Sean Hill's going to join us in about 5 minutes. Hill played for the Hurricanes, and he was in the Miracle at Molson. I'm not saying that there's a lot of similarities other than the score.
Mm-hmm.
But you can feel momentum on the ice. So we'll talk with him. We're going to talk a little NFL draft today. Also, Florida State versus the ACC. We'll get into that some as well. But obviously, a lot of it's going to be about why I'm exhausted. Yeah, I mean, who needs more than 3 hours sleep after that?
Oh, it's fine.
I have extra adrenaline.
I know. Well, that's the problem. There's like the high of coming down from all of that craziness.
I will sleep eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Well, maybe tonight.
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
very possible. It is very
this
possible.
Is your one window.
This is today and I might tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then maybe not.
There's no soccer, golf, or anything, right, to keep you awake.
There's always. Yeah, it's always there.
Never mind.
All right. Very quickly about last night, because I want to get to a couple of other things before Sean Hill comes up, and Sean's going to join us in about 5 minutes. It was 3 different games last night, and Carolina wins at 5-3. The first part of the game where Carolina really controlled. Carolina was the better team for the first 15 minutes of the game. Didn't get anything out of it. They weren't great offensively, but they had the puck. I mean, it took the Islanders 13 and a half minutes to get their first shot on goal. Like, no joke. Simon Holmstrom shot from probably, I don't know, above the 2 face-off circles. Freddie Andersen easily blockered it away. That was the first shot on goal. There was like 6.5 minutes left in the period. But then there was a 4-on-4 penalty situation, and from that point on, the Islanders played their game. And when that was over, even after the Anders Lee power play goal, it's 3-0 Islanders, and you're thinking, wow, how did this deteriorate so quickly?
Yes.
Because Carolina was looking like they were going to play their game.
That was when PNC was real quiet.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Before it erupted.
Like a library.
It was.
Then Simeon Varlamov took a penalty he shouldn't have taken. Teuvo Teravainen cashed in a power play goal. Great pass by Jake Ensel. And from that point on, you could tell it was like the Islanders were on a plane. The door was missing. And they were all just holding on, trying to prevent from being sucked out.
Yes.
Right?
Meanwhile, all their fans back in on the island with their jaws on the floor, like, what is going on?
You've seen that video, right?
I know.
They're like staring at the screen like,
multiple times.
What are we watching? What is happening?
What happened?
The Aho goal, then 9 seconds later, the Martinook goal, and Mike Maniscalco was so right last night. The roof came off.
It did.
It was so loud, so loud. Let me get to a couple of other things before we get to Sean Hill here in just a second. It is NFL Draft Week, right? We're 2 days away from the first round, and here's what I will say: if you're the Panthers, you do pay attention. What I am interested in is how many of the top 5 quarterbacks go. Maybe the top, let's expand it because teams and franchises are stupid. How many of the top 6 quarterbacks go in the first round? Like, I think we know that we're going to go quarterback to start. When does J.J. McCarthy, from Michigan's quarterback, when does he go? Does he go 4? Does he go 8? 5, wherever. It's going to be, probably goes in the top 10, again, because teams are dumb. Where does Michael Penix go from Washington? Where does Bo Nix go? Is one of them still around at 33? And the only reason I bring that up is I think that there will be teams who would be interested in trading up for a quarterback if one of those guys is available at 33. And if you are the Panthers, if it's a quarterback and you could take advantage of somebody, then you do it. But I would only trade out of 33 for 2 things. And one of which is, are you giving me a first-round pick next year? Because if you are, sure, I'll take it. Or I want 2 day 2 picks. Preferably one somewhere in the second round, but it doesn't have to be. But I want 2 day 2 picks for 33. It's the only way I trade out of it. Otherwise, if I'm the Panthers, I'm drafting at 33, 39, and 65. And here is my list of positions I think they need to address. Wide receiver, cornerback, defensive tackle, center guard, somewhere in the interior of the offensive line, and then tight end. In that order, that's what I believe they need. I wouldn't be opposed to wide receiver in 2 of those picks. Wide receivers and cornerbacks, I think the Panthers, one of their weakest positions is at corner. All right, one of their weakest positions is at corner. I really believe they need to address that. So that's what I would do if I were the Panthers.
The Bucs exposed that years back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, they just, and look.
They need everything.
They do need everything. If J.C. Horn is healthy, that would be great.
And it's a big if.
Right, it is, because this is the 3 years, right? He's played less than half of the available games.
Yes.
So what I would do, I think you have to get a cornerback. And if somehow Kool-Aid McKinstry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right or not. If he is available at 33, that's the pick. If somehow he slips out of the first round, he's probably going to end up being a late first round pick. I think. TJ Tampa is another. I think he's from Iowa State. Is also a highly touted cornerback who I think will be available. So if they can come out of this with a wide receiver in 33 and 39, a wide receiver and a cornerback, I think they're in pretty good shape. That's what I would do if I were them. All right, one other thing we're going to hit later on today, and Sean Hill's going to join us in a second. So we all know that Florida State's suing the ACC to get out of the league, all of that. They're going to leave. They're going to go to wherever, SEC, Big Ten. I have no idea where they're going. But they just want out because finances, and I get it at this point. If we can't make the same amount of money they're making in the SEC or the Big Ten, which you can only make in the SEC or the Big Ten, even if the ACC and Big 12 pooled all of their resources and you chose only their best teams, they wouldn't make that money. The SEC and the Big Ten are essentially new U.S. mints, just printing money. So if you can't get there, then you're going to be falling behind in their minds financially. So Florida State wants out. There's lawsuits flying all over the place. So yesterday there was a hearing in Leon County, Florida, in Tallahassee, where the state of Florida is apparently now going to get involved. Like the state, not Florida State, the state of Florida, and the Attorney General is like suing on like sovereign immunity grounds or something like this, which, like, I'm not an attorney, so we're going to talk to one later who is an IP attorney. Because what this is, and everybody that we have talked to, and we've talked to a lot of attorneys about these matters, this is about intellectual property. And Florida State's football, as a member of the ACC, right, they have granted their IP rights for sports to the league by contract, which they signed and profited from twice. It'll be interesting to me and to the attorneys to see how this is ultimately argued, and I'm not sure, based on who we're going to talk to today, based on the hearing yesterday, if the ACC's got good attorneys or not. I mean, I don't know. It didn't sound great yesterday, although nothing that happened yesterday in Florida is a win or a loss for anybody, no matter how it's being phrased or depicted. It's not a win or a loss for anybody. They're still basically just trying to figure out venue, who's got jurisdiction. We'll see how that goes, but I keep getting back to this. It shouldn't matter who has jurisdiction. IP law, copyright law is the same everywhere. That should be that. We're not talking about politics here. We're not talking about elections and things like that. We're not doing that. This is simply law, and that should be kind of simple to figure out, even if the law can be complicated.
You would hope so.
But we will talk with David McKenzie in a little bit. He's an IP and a constitutional law expert, and we'll get his take on all of that. I think ultimately what's going to happen, and I think the judge even mentioned mediation yesterday, that ain't going to happen. I will be surprised if the Atlantic Coast Conference spends any time negotiating with Florida State. I really will. I just think if you do that, you've just set a price on the league. And I don't, unless the price is so high. I mean, unless we're talking about, sure, you can leave for $500 million. In which case, Florida State may pursue that, but I don't think they will. All right, so those are the three things we're going to talk about. We're going to get to Sean Hill here in a second, but I want to go back to what I thought was the turning point in the game. When Simeon Varlamov takes that tripping penalty of Stefan Nason in the beginning of the game. In the beginning, no, it wasn't the beginning of the game. 12:33 of the second period. So Carolina's got about 7.5 minutes left. They had just had a power play not that long prior, and it didn't look great. And we thought this was a power play of significance because you're already down 3-0, and the power play was kind of weak. And then, and maybe Varlamov thought, oh, yeah, I could be who I want because Carolina's not on it right now. But then he gave Carolina another opportunity because it was an unnecessary penalty. Nason wasn't bothering him. He was just standing in front. So he trips him up, and Carolina goes to the power play. Took him about 90 seconds of the power play. Jake Gensel passes it to Teuvo Teravainen. It's a goal, 3-1. From that point on, the Islanders, again, I mentioned this before, they were really just trying to get to the finish line. they could not get to the puck. If they had it, Carolina bullied them off of it. And even though Carolina did not score another goal at the end of the period, you could tell what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
The only way the Islanders were going to hold on and win that game was either Semyon Varlamov played amazing or Carolina got a little unlucky. That's that which happens in hockey a lot.
It does.
Right? The Islanders were like 4 defenders inside the center of the offensive zone or defensive zone for them. So they were blocking a bunch of shots. But ultimately, Carolina just kept getting closer and closer and closer, and they kept hitting posts. Aho hit a post early in the second period. Aho on a deflection hit a post in the middle of that period when it was 3-1. Gensel hit a post. Jarvis hit a post right at the end of the second period.
So many posts.
They hit 4 in the second period.
Nuts.
It was incredible. And even at the start of the third, it was the same. And unfortunately for Carolina, they couldn't get anything.
No.
And then keep it at the blue line by Brady Shea. Pushes it up to Stahl. Pass across to Jarvis. I don't know if Robert Bortuzzo, who I think he won a cup with, if I'm not mistaken, with St. Louis, if it's the same player. Bortuzzo, defenseman, went down to block the shot. I don't know if Jarvis got a piece of, if he got a piece of Jarvis's shot and deflected it high or not, but the shot goes over the shoulder of Varlamov, same place that Kuznetsov scored in the beginning of Game 1. That made it 3-2, and now all of a sudden you're in a one-shot hockey game. As long as you could keep it that way, and they almost didn't, you know that the Hurricanes are going to have a chance with an extra attacker. Now, Kyle McLean had a deflection goal go in immediately after.
Yes.
Immediately after it was 3-2. Carolina celebrated. All of a sudden, wait a second, the puck's in the net. I saw the official to the right of the goal immediately put his hand in the air, never pointed at the net, waved the goal off because it was deflected with a high stick. They reviewed it. And let's have a show of hands for all of the Hurricanes fans who just knew that they were going to overturn the no goal and say, well, on further review. But remember the standard. All the stick has to be is above the crossbar. It doesn't have to be above your shoulder, although this was above his shoulder, but he was more horizontal than anything else. But the stick was above the crossbar, makes it an easy no goal. Good call on the ice. The call was upheld, and we just continue the play, and Carolina continued to hem the Islanders in, and finally the Hurricanes broke through with an extra attacker. Sebastian Aho deflection goal goes in, and then 9 seconds later on the bump-up shift, and I said this in the podcast last night, if I'm Patrick Waugh, I am seriously considering the calling a timeout. That's what I would have done. But that's not what they did. And they got, unfortunately, very, very big boyed right after that, right after the face-off. They win the face-off. Drury cycles it behind the net. Drury took the place of Seth Jarvis because Jarvis had just been on the ice. Drury cycles the puck behind the net. Jordan Martinook completely flings Noah Dobson away like a rag doll, takes the puck, and then got a little lucky here because Martinook's stuff chance went off the skate. He didn't really put it on net. It went off the pad or the skate of Varlamov and in, and now it's 4-3. And, I mean, the Islanders had the puck a little bit at the end, but really not that much. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We're going to talk NFL draft with Ross Tucker. We will get to Sean Hill in just a little bit. Ross Tucker, NFL draft expert, former NFL offensive lineman, media star, all of that. And he will join us to talk draft next on The Adam Gold Show.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
the NFL Draft.
Start the clock.
Let's go.
The picks will be in.
With the first pick.
It's NFL Draft Week. Find out if Drake May stays in the top 3. Will the Carolina Panthers make magic happen on day 2? Find the answers with us.
Let's give these people a show.
Insider reports and in-depth coverage all week long on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Gold here. The playoffs are cranking up, or if you're some teams, maybe winding down, if you know what I mean. And FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and FanDuel wants you to know that you can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 wager. Just sign up right now. Use my promo code, FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold, FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold, and take advantage of $200 in bonus bets guaranteed, win or lose, when you make your first $5 wager. This way, if you had the Islanders last night, no big deal. You get bonus bets. FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Must be 21 and older and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
I'm Drake May, quarterback at UNC. Trust the team at Mitchell Heating and Cooling for your HVAC needs. Together we win. Call Mitchell Heating and Cooling today.
Contact us now at mitchellhvac.com or 919-556-5069. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Major International Soccer is coming to Raleigh this summer. Don't miss the current English Premier League champions Manchester City versus the current Scottish Premier League champions Celtic FC, playing July 23rd at Keenan Stadium at the University of North Carolina. This is going to be the event of the summer and your chance to watch some great soccer from two of the biggest teams in the world. Tickets are on sale now. Go to fcseries.com to purchase. July 23rd, Manchester City versus Celtic at Keenan Stadium. fcseries.com for tickets.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or a 2 bird dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, why you don't want a quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. What is wrong with you? Oh, you don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
A la mode? Oh, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Ross Tucker, he will join us in just a little bit. We will talk NFL draft with him. We'll talk about what the Panthers may do at 33, talk about depth of positions. And I already told you that if I'm the Panthers, I'm staying at 33 and 39 and 65. I'm going to make or break my draft with those 3 picks. And the only way I'm going out of 33 or 39 is if I get either a future 1 or 2 day 2 picks. So if I trade out of 33, you're probably giving me a future 1. If I trade out of 39, you're probably giving me 2 picks in the 3rd round. That's the way I look at it. Otherwise, I'm staying right where I am, and I'm making sure out of those 3 picks, I come out with a wide receiver, I come out with a defensive back, and in my opinion, a defensive tackle if I can get one as well. I think they need a partner for Derek Brown, a long-term partner for him, and they need another cornerback. Not only is J.C. Horn physically unreliable, but even if he's reliable, you need another cornerback. If you want to build an elite defense, you got to have 2 good ones. Legit good ones. And they clearly need a wide receiver. They need more than 1 wide receiver, to be honest. I wouldn't be completely opposed to take 2 wide receivers. Even if they doubled up in the 30s, 33 and 39 on wide receivers, I'd be okay with that if I were the Carolina Panthers. But we've kind of joked about it for the last couple of days. If I'm the Panthers, if I'm a Panthers fan, and I hear the Panthers have made a trade Thursday night, and they're trading into the 1st round, I can't be happy about that. I just can't.
No, not at all.
Because you need multiple players, and there's nobody you can trade for that there isn't really an equivalent of picking at 33 or 39. I mean, nobody. There is one exception to that, but I don't know that they would ever trade into the 1st round to get Brock Bowers, because I don't think there's not another Brock Bowers in this draft. There's not another tight end like that. And the Panthers need a tight end. But I don't think Brock Bowers is going to be there at 24. I think Brock Bowers is going to be long gone by the time we get to there. As a matter of fact, most of the mock drafts I look at now say that Brock Bowers is not going to get past the Jets, even though I think that would be a silly pick for them, because they need to make sure that they have a good offensive line, because you have to assume all the old players they brought in to protect Aaron Rodgers, there's just no way he stays healthy. All right, but so that would be my plan. If you're a Panthers fan, you're keeping 33, you're keeping 39, you're keeping 65. And, if you trade back a few spots to pick up an extra, a 5th rounder or whatever, that's okay. But ultimately, the integrity of picking where they are, I think has to be maintained unless you are getting a significant return. And I hope that the Panthers do one or the other, either draft where they are or get a significant return for those picks. But I've seen a lot of people think that the Panthers are going to trade out of 33, and I think it really depends on, is there somebody that wants a quarterback and wants to draft a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix, or who knows? That to me is the only reason that you do it. Otherwise, take that pick, use it on a wide receiver, land McConkey, Addy Mitchell. I don't know. One of those guys. That's what I would do. All right, Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, CBS Sports college football analyst, Westwood One NFL analyst. You have, is your business card like? Is it a book? What is going on? Also, myfrontpagestory.com. We talk about this all the time, and it's Mother's Day coming up, so we're excited to do something cool for Mom. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Adam. You know, what's funny is I used to list all my things at the bottom of my email. You know how people have like an email,
yeah,
and then it says like executive producer, Adam Gold Show or whatever. I had so many things down there it was like a paragraph. It was obnoxious. So now I just don't have anything down there.
Good.
I just got rid of everything there because it was too much. I didn't really know what to highlight. Right now, though, since you teed me up, Adam, I'm going to highlight myfrontpagestory.com. By far the best Mother's Day gift ever. Listen, we don't really know what to get our moms, right? Like, I literally text Adam, my wife, hey, what should I get my mom for Mother's Day? Then I text my mom, hey, what should I get Kara for Mother's Day? Because I don't know. And you're probably like me. So now you do know. Go to myfrontpagestory.com. It's unbelievable. You literally talk to a writer for like 10 minutes while you're driving to Chick-fil-A or driving home from work. Tell them how amazing your mom is. They write this awesome story. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you can see it's framed pictures, beautiful. I can almost guarantee they'll cry happy tears. And the best thing is it'll be hanging up in the house forever. So it's like a new gift every day. It's called myfrontpagestory.com. My front page story. Let's be honest, right? Like, moms are everybody's number one pick. There are no moms that end up being a bust, right? I mean, I'm sure there are some. I don't know many. Most moms are a pretty good, are a pretty solid pick if you take them in your draft. Get them an awesome gift. Myfrontpagestory.com.
You should never draft a mom of need, right? You should always draft best mom available.
My mom was a reach mom, but it's worked out.
Ross Tucker is joining us here. All right, so the Panthers don't have anything to do on Thursday other than watch and enjoy the draft. Although if one of the, I say top 5 quarterbacks happens to sneak out of the first round, it probably gives them some things to consider on, Thursday night into Friday during the day. Do you think any of the top 5 quarterbacks, and I'm thinking that J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix are 4 and 5, do you think any of them are possibly going to fall out of the first round, or maybe will all 6 go in the first round?
I think we'll see. I think we'll probably end up seeing 5. I'd be surprised if it's 6. I'm following all the information, Adam, like you are. Tom Pelissero does a terrific job for NFL Network. He says he thinks 6 will go in the first round. Peter Schrager for Fox NFL Network, he thinks 6 might go in the top half of the first round. That sounds like a lot to me. I mean, that would surprise me. Remember last year, I probably came on with you, Adam, and they were saying Will Levis was going number 2 to Houston, or Will Levis was going number 4 to the Indianapolis Colts. He goes in the second round. The year before that, it was, hey, the Detroit Lions, number 2, Malik Willis, very much in play.
Yeah.
Really? Because they took Aiden Hutchins, and Malik Willis went like in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I mean, so we'll see. I will say there's some teams in a really bad position. I know it didn't look good last year for Carolina and Bryce Young, and I get that. But, man, I'd still rather be in their spot than being like the Vikings at 11 or the Broncos at 12, where everybody knows you're desperate for a quarterback, and yet what can you do at best? At best, maybe you can trade up with the Patriots or the Cardinals at 3 or 4 and get the 3rd or 4th best guy. That's your best case scenario. A king's ransom for maybe the 4th best guy. It doesn't sound like a very good process to me, Adam.
Ross Tucker is joining us here. I know you do a lot of podcasts with Greg Cosell. And I mean, to me, he is fascinating in his film study and all of that. How does he look at this quarterback class? Is Caleb Williams way ahead of everybody? What about Jayden Daniels and Drake May? And where do the other guys stack?
You know what's crazy about that is all season, or at least even before the season, it was Caleb Williams, Drake May, Caleb Williams, right? And I'm watching these guys all year and watching some of their games. Then, obviously, Jayden Daniels had the phenomenal year, and he gets the Heisman, all that stuff. After the season, every guy I've had come on the Ross Tucker podcast, and we're hardcore football there. And, not only Greg Cosell, but Phil Simms, Dan Orlovsky, Chase Daniel, Louis Riddick. It's like unanimous, Adam. I mean, they all love Jayden Daniels, and they all do not like Drake May.
Really?
All of them across the board. Like that was kind of the consensus that Drake May was raw. Drake May was Phil Simms called him disappointing. And then Jaden Daniels, they're saying he's the best progression reader of the group, the best pocket passer of the group. We know he's the fastest.
Yeah.
So I like Jaden Daniels. I think he's the best. And if I'm going to have all these guys on my show and I'm going to ask them the question and every guy says the same thing, I might as well believe him. Otherwise, why am I even having him on the show? So I'm going to believe him. And so I got Jaden Daniels number 1. I got Drake May quite a bit lower based on all this stuff. It's interesting. I mean, obviously you're right there in Raleigh. Yeah. I don't know what happened with Drake May. I know the O-line wasn't as good, and he lost his receiver and all that stuff. But still, there were people before the year that said Drake May was better than Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think people looked at North Carolina the end of their season 2 years in a row, to be honest, and they did not play well down the stretch. But, yeah, his receiving core was not great. It took a while to get Tez Walker even eligible to play. And then he showed flashes, and I don't know that Tez Walker is anything better. I mean, he might be a late day 2 pick, probably a day 3 pick, so I don't think he had great receivers. I also don't know that Carolina's offensive coaching put Drake May in the best positions. But, I mean, I'm not the trained expert, but I like May a lot. So I actually think that as long as he doesn't have to play in year 1, I think he is a prospect that can absolutely develop into somebody really good. He's got good size. He's got a very good arm. I think the biggest problem I have with him is that he shows some medium range inaccuracies.
Yeah.
That to me is the only real problem with him. I think he throws a good deep ball. He's a super athlete. And he's got great size, but I think he's a little inaccurate to the middle of the field.
The knocks I heard were the consistent throw-to-throw accuracy, and then that he misses too many layups. That's a hard thing in the NFL. I mean, if a guy's open for a first down, you got to be able to put it on him.
Right.
I mean, you just don't get that many opportunities. So I heard missing layups, and I heard down-to-down accuracy not there for Drake May.
Yeah, part of it is also he just didn't have the weapons around him the last couple of years. If he had the weapons like that Mitch Trubisky threw to when Trubisky was the quarterback here, I think May would look a whole lot better. Ross Tucker is joining us here. A few more minutes with him. Which position do you feel like, because Carolina's going to pick 33 and 39, which position do you think is, because they need wide receiver, cornerback, offensive line. I think they need another defensive tackle as well. Which position do you think is deepest that will provide a lot of value early in the second round, even into the middle of the third?
So what's interesting is the first 3 you named, receiver, corner, O-line. I think there's a really good chance the Panthers can get 3 starters with, 3. That'd be really impressive. If they can get 3 starters with 2 picks, now we're talking. But no, but I do think they can get 2 starters out of those 3 positions in the 30s because there's a lot of good receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good receivers. There's a bunch of good offensive linemen, right? Like, in those spots, maybe Graham Barton from Duke, right? Maybe JPJ from Oregon. There's some tackles that'll still be available there. Paul from Houston. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that they could get at O-line. Corner the same way. It's probably not Terrion Arnold from Alabama or even Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo, but there's other guys. Maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry's still there at 33, right? Maybe Rakestraw from Missouri if you want a nickel back. I mean, there's guys that'll be there, and even receiver, right? I mean, I can totally see them drafting Ladd McConkey, right, to give Bryce Young a guy that just gets open all the time, gets open, the Georgia receiver.
Yep.
Plus, I think it'd be pretty awesome for Ladd McConkey to learn from Adam Thielen for a year.
That is true. He's smaller, but again, everything you read about him and we watched on tape at Georgia is all about he is just an elite route runner and can get open. The Panthers had nobody who could get open. Adam Thielen was the only guy who was ever open last year for Bryce Young. I'd love. I mean, if they went wide receiver with both of those picks, I wouldn't hate it. But in terms of quarterback, I had just talked about Kool-Aid McKinstry, who might be there at 33. I think he's probably a late first-round pick. But T.J. Tampa is another one of those cornerbacks who played at Iowa State that I know that I think that there is some interest there as well. I don't think Graham Barton's going to be around. I think when you're an interior offensive lineman and you run like a 4.8, and you're as good as he played tackle last year. He's played every spot for Duke along the offensive front. I think he's going to be gone, unfortunately, or fortunately for him. He's a great player.
I would tend to agree. I think he seems like a guy that goes in the 20s, and the position versatility is just gigantic. I mean, it really, really is, because you never know who's going to get banged up. You never know who's going to start to play poorly. And if you have a guy that you can move to other spots, boy, that puts you in a really good position.
Ross Tucker, you played offensive line. Can you be a great team without a great center?
Yeah, I think so, actually. I think you can. I played center, and center, the most important aspect of that is really the thinking part of it.
Right.
I started, I think, 4 or 5 games at center in my time, and, I was fine. I wasn't the reason why. I'm trying to think. We won a couple of them. We lost a couple of them, but I certainly wasn't the reason why we won or lost, right? Which is kind of what you want, that position. Now, there are certain guys that better have elite athleticism, like a Jason Kelsey. You also, of course, have guys, that are really powerful at that spot. But I think more than anything else, the center needs to be tough, durable, and smart, right? If he can make sure everybody's blocking the right guys and he's tough and durable, you can scheme around potentially perceived shortcomings athletically. Certainly the teams I played for did.
I know the Panthers' offensive line was never better than when they had Ryan Khalil. And Khalil was an elite center and, some of the best offensive lines. I mean, whether you go back to the Steelers and Mike Webster, they're just, if you have an elite center, I think it makes everybody around you better.
I think it helps quite a bit. Yeah. I don't think you need one, but I think it helps. It's interesting about offensive line, different than other spots, right? Offensive line, I don't think it's as important, Adam, that you have somebody really good as it is that you don't have someone really bad.
Well.
And I mean that. I mean that, on D-line, if you have average players, they're not really going to make a difference.
Right.
You need above average, like you need a Derek Brown, you need a difference-making player. On the offensive line, you just can't have a difference-making player negatively.
It's interesting. As we let you go, Ross Tucker is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Our friend Steve Logan, former head coach at East Carolina, and he's been an assistant in the NFL a lot. He had basically sometimes he would just ask his offensive line to get run over slowly, right? Just kind of get in the way and don't make it easy on the D line.
We used to say get run over with dignity.
Oh man. MyFrontPageStory.com for Mother's Day. Craft a story that is worthy of mom or your wife or your daughter for Mother's Day. Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, all over the place. I appreciate your time, my man. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, my pleasure, Adam. Anytime. Thank you for having me.
You got it, always. Ross Tucker here on the Adam Gold Show. And it's interesting, right? Former offensive lineman saying, yeah, you don't have to be great. You just can't be bad.
I love it.
I mean, I could push back on that. I think I would like great.
Maybe that would be a good life motto too. If you're having a rough day, it's all right.
Hey, you don't have to excel. Just don't suck.
Right? Exactly.
Honestly, that's probably a lot of people's life motto.
Right.
It probably is. All right, we'll do one-timers. I have a feeling I know what our top story is going to be. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We have seen historic increases in the case of congenital syphilis, which is a syphilis that happens when mothers who are infected with syphilis pass the infection in uterus during the pregnancy, and the result can be miscarriage or stillbirth. The good news is that congenital syphilis can be prevented. If persons who are pregnant get tested and treated for syphilis 30 days before delivery.
Find testing and learn more about syphilis at syphilis.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Charlotte this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 25 different sports. The Body Armor State Games features 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Harris Teeter, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Hi, Darcy the Cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. Get a better looking lawn with Black Cow. Apply to your lawn as top dressing and get 10 times more nutrients than topsoil. Black Cow will feed your lawn, your flower beds, and vegetable gardens for up to 3 months. Oh yeah, everything grows better with sun, water, and Black Cow.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Have you lost North Carolina Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It is playoff time in the NBA and the NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your home to wager on any game you want. FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook, and right now new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 wager. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. Anything you want to wager on, slap shots, home runs, slam dunks, all there. $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you make your first $5 wager. Visit FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to get started. I can't make it any easier. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook. Must be 21 and older and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
NASCAR stars shine at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. The NASCAR All-Star Race, Sunday, May 19th. Get your single-day tickets now and see NASCAR's best battle it out on one of NASCAR's most historic tracks. Country music phenom Warren Ziders rocks the pre-race stage, free with your race ticket. Only North Wilkesboro Speedway can deliver this kind of all-star action and excitement. The NASCAR All-Star Race. Get your single-day tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, why you don't want a quarterback?
Exactly. What is wrong with you? Oh, you don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
I'll unload? Oh, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Next hour, David McKenzie, who's an intellectual property and constitutional law attorney, and we will discuss the ACC versus Florida State, I guess also versus Clemson, although yesterday's court hearing in Tallahassee, Florida, was all about FSU against the ACC and where this case is going to be heard and where appeals are being thrown everywhere, and just get his general opinion of the legal arguments being made by Florida State University. We'll talk about that Now, time for Q&A one-timers.
Okay, well, you're right. It's Heavy Canes today. However, I do have an NBA one if you want to just get that one out of the way.
Let's do it right now.
Okay, well, the Denver Nuggets are up 2-0 to the Lakers here. And LeBron recently said he doesn't know what's going on in the replay center. So do you actually see there being an issue with their replay, or is this just kind of like he's reaching?
I think he was upset with a call. Mm-hmm. Trying to remember the specifics of the call. I remember what he was talking about, but look, I mean, Rod Brindamore questions the refereeing or the, why we don't review this. It'd just be so simple to review it. I watch a lot of Premier League soccer, and I mean, we question referees, and it's all so much of this stuff is subjective. Like, we're not talking about did he step on the line or not. Mm-hmm. Now, we're not talking about inbounds or out of bounds, three-pointer or not. We're dealing mostly with subjective things or objective things. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's early. It's early and late at the same time for me.
Yeah.
So I think he's just hear. They're down 2-0 in the series. They blew a 20-point lead.
Yeah, they did.
To Denver. So
lost by like 2 points. Yeah.
Let's not whine about things.
Exactly, LeBron. Okay, now moving on to our Canes. So, in your opinion, what was the main reason for that 3-0 lead by the Islanders last night? And is this something that they can amplify when we're playing them Thursday at home?
Well,
at their home.
Carolina got to their game, and the Islanders can't handle that. When Carolina plays what we saw Carolina play like for the last 30 minutes of the game, that's unusual. I don't care who you're playing against in the NHL. That's not going to happen again. The Islanders had one shot on goal in the last 30 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Uno! For the last 30 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's insanity how one-sided that was.
Vegas loves that, though.
Yeah, that's right. But to be perfectly honest, if the Hurricanes play their game, the Islanders are not equipped to stop it. Their blue line is not nearly as good as it used to be. And because they're not as good defensively, it's hard for them. And you saw Noah Dobson is either not healthy or he can't handle that. Because Noah Dobson got big boyed a lot last night by the Hurricanes. And Steph Nason was just knocking everybody out.
Yeah, and he was not having none of it.
No.
So, there you go. And maybe not last but not least. Is it time for Freddie to take a little break and put Piotr in net?
Yeah. No, I think we'll see Kochetkov. My guess.
Yeah.
We'll see Kochetkov in Game 3 and Freddie right away in Game 4. Regardless of what happens in Game 3, I think you'll see Anderson back in Game 4. I don't think there's any question about that. 7:30 start Thursday, 2 o'clock start Saturday. I think you'll see them both.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Dallas Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I have more windows in my house than doors, but if I wanted to change out windows, how long does this whole thing take?
So, typical job, couple of days, 2-3 days, and that's complete. That's very unintrusive. A lot of these home improvement projects, it can take weeks or months. You can beautify your home. You can make it more energy efficient. You can make the windows that are a lot easier to use and clean, and you can do it quickly. It's 2 to 3 day job usually.
2 to 3 days. And how many different types of windows do you have?
Where do I begin?
We don't have that much time.
We got colors, options. These things are custom made to your specifications, sized perfectly to fit the openings.
Can you put a window where I don't have a window?
We do it all the time.
Unbelievable. Dallas Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 800-672-4348 on Hamlin Road in Durham, aluminumcompany.com for windows, right?
Absolutely. And doors.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a walk-off grand slam or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dude Perfect here. Power up with the new smoothie we created with Smoothie King. It's loaded with pineapple, banana, kiwi, apple juice, and more. Straw me, boys. Perfect shot.
Get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Electricity flows through everything. Our movement, our passion, our drive. Ford connected the performance of a sports car with the thrill of an EV to create a pony tuned for exhilaration, engineered to give you an extra jolt of adrenaline. Feel something electric. The 2024 Mustang Mach-E SUV. Test drive one today at your Carolina Ford dealer. Available at Ford EV certified dealers only.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Shoots, he scores!
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
All of us have a role to play in promoting a mental health friendly workplace. Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Aho will come up with it. He'll play it around Pellick. Kane's trying to get numbers down low. Shot put on. Rebounds there. They score! Teravainen with hard work out in front from Carolina. A power play goal. And the Canes are on the board. Canes will get a bounce. Jarvis holding, shoots. He scores! What a bullet, Seth Jarvis!
It was a great shot. Still don't know if it deflected off Robert Bortuzzo or maybe it was just made it difficult for Varlamov to see it, but it certainly was an elite shot over the blocker's side shoulder, same place where Yevgeny Kuznetsov beat him early in Game 1. My guess is that we will see two different goaltenders in Game 3. I think our matchup will not be Anderson versus Varlamov. I believe we will see Kochetkov versus Sorokin, and two Russians. 3 out of the 4 goalies in the series, Russians. Also, we haven't even mentioned this. Number 22, Brett Pesce. Looks like, they haven't released anything, but Rod Brindamore last night did not seem all that optimistic that it was going to be good news on the health of Brett Pesce. Pesce was on the ice for the third goal, for the power play goal that made it 3-0. He got twisted up there. He took a couple of more shifts, so I don't know if the injury happened then and he just realized after a couple more shifts that he couldn't go, or if something happened in either of those two shifts. But we'll see. But Dmitry Orlov, now's your time. He's been playing great. Dmitry has been playing great hockey the last 3 months for Carolina. Like the kind of hockey you pay a guy $7.75 million to play, to be honest. And I've been a huge critic of that signing. But boy, has he been good. And Jalen Chatfield keeps getting better. So Carolina's core five really good. And then Tony DeAngelo, this is my guess, will draw in. Sean Hill also wore number 22. I don't believe has any issues that would keep him out of the lineup, but he joins us on the Adam Gold Show. He's taking a break from making number 9s up at the Jersey Mikes in Youngsville. Sir, Lewisburg. I'm sorry, got that wrong.
They're very different. I'm up in that area.
Okay,
I
apologize. Do we have beef, so to speak, between Lewisburg and Youngsville? Is there like
no.
Like we don't have
They're
any
just
like
not
issues.
the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I apologize.
I don't think there's a store open in Youngsville yet, to be honest with you.
There's not.
Well, you should get on that, Sean. Thank you.
Well, I'd love to. Unfortunately, we don't have that trade area, but we'd love to get it.
All right. Well, maybe we can make a trade.
Hey, we can work together, Sean.
Deadline day coming.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's as you're watching last night, and you've been on the ice, and the reason I thought about you was you were on the ice for the Miracle at Molson, and you can feel momentum shift. Could you feel that last night?
I could. When we got the first one, I was, kind of still a little bit guarded, but then the way we started and kept playing after that, I was like, it's gotta, it's gonna happen. And then, Jarvie's goal was electric. Yeah, and then I'll tell you what. When we got the second one, I said to my son, I said, "We're winning this thing." And then I didn't say it out loud after we tied it, but I thought to myself, these guys are going to win this in regulation. And
yep.
Crazy as it is, they did, and I was not one bit surprised. But I mean, I don't know if I've ever been so much wrapped up in being a fan as I was in that game. It was amazing, and people, here and there will stop me and say, "I'm so sorry. I'm just a fan." And I said, "Listen, you don't have to apologize. That's exactly what I am, and we're exactly the same. And I'm a huge, huge fan of this team, and it's a fun time of year."
It is the best time of the year. Now, I have some friends who are Islanders fans, and like we blew it. I mean, is that a case of when Carolina's playing their game, maybe the Islanders just don't have enough, I don't know, is it foot speed on the back end? I think they have a good defense. It's not what it used to be. It's not the same defense as they had a couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago when Devin Taves was there or Nick Leddy was there. Guys are a little bit older. And Noah Dobson's clearly not healthy because I thought he got big boyed, especially on the Martinook goal that put him ahead.
Right. I don't know what he's got going on, but Jarvie let him feel the thunder in game one. And, that, speaking of being a fan, I was so fired up over that. But, I think it's a case where, we get the first goal and the way we're just all over them, I feel like they're trying to plug holes with bubble gum and they keep popping up. And, I think in the backs of their minds, they're like, this clock has got to speed up. And, we have got to find a way to get them out of our zone for, the length of time they're in there. And, we just kept wearing them down, zone time shots. It was, it's one of those things where you're just thinking it's going to happen. And when it does happen, the whole dam is going to go bursting and it's going to be, a crazy, crazy episode.
Sean Hill, former Carolina Hurricane, here on 99.9 The Fan with me on the Adam Gold Show. Let me ask you about Seth Jarvis. Jarvis, to me, I was texting with Eric Cole earlier today. To me, Jarvis is the small dog who thinks he's a big dog because he acts like a big dog. He plays a bigger game. When you watch him, what are you seeing, and what do you think his potential really is?
I mean, I think he is a guy that is getting, near everything out of his game. I definitely think he's still going to get better. But I think he's improved a ton, and that's saying something. You know, you have guys that aren't very good at the start and then improve a ton, but I mean, he's always been really solid, and now he's just getting exceptional. And you know, I think he's got the feeling that he knows he's, you know, kind of one of the guys I don't feel like we have one guy who's the face of the franchise, but I think there's, you know, whether there's, you know, 3 or 4 of them or whatever, but he's definitely one of those guys. And just with the energy he plays with, and, you know, the hits he makes here and there, and the goals he scores, and just his reactions. I mean, last night when he scored that goal and he goes to the ear and glides into the corner and lets the glass have it. I mean, could there be any better celebration than that at that time? You know, telling the crowd, I need you, I need to hear you, you know. And
right.
I get chills talking about it right now. He's just a special player, and you know, he just keeps getting better and better, and he knows, you know, he knows he's important, but he goes about it the right way every day. He grabs his lunch pail and he goes out there and blocks shots and hits, and, you know, gives 110% every time out. It doesn't matter if he scores or not. He's effective and a huge leader on this team.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me about Jarvis is that when Rod changed the lines a couple of months ago, and he put Jesper Fast, he dropped Jesper Fast down to play on a fourth line to give them some more, just a little bit more grit below. And he put Jarvis there with Stahl and Martinook. And just watching it, it just seemed to me like Jarvis just enjoyed playing that way. You know, very north-south, you know, try to be physical, all about just being a pest. And I thought he had a great time with it. Clearly he can play on a top line because he, Aho, and Gensel, you know, just worked incredible magic together for about, you know, 3.5, 4 weeks. But when they flip Svechnikov to go back up top and put Jarvis back there again, I think he digs it. And I think he loves playing that way. And as long as they have the puck, he's going to get a chance to score, and that happened last night.
Right. Yeah. I think he's the ultimate teammate. Just the way he handles that. I mean, there's so many guys that would sulk about that and look at that as a demotion. And I don't know how he looked at it, but from the outside, it looks like he said, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to bust my butt every second I'm out there, and I'm going to try and add something to this line that they haven't necessarily had. And, you know, I'm going to give it my all. And you would think the kid was in a tryout and, you know, they just throw him out there and show us what you can do. I mean, he is buzzing and lifting people up. And I mean, I can't say enough about him, the way he reacts to certain situations like that. And, you know, what a player for Roddy to have, to know that, oh, I can plug this guy in here. He's not going to sulk. He's going to make them better. He's going to turn that, you know, add an offensive flair to that line. And I mean, what a great luxury to have.
Yeah, and the other guy I really wanted to ask you about was Jordan Martinook, who is one of those players that, like, is not – he helps you win, right? He's just a foot soldier type player. You can deploy him anywhere you want. Sometimes Rod uses him to get other lines going. But the way Martinook approached that play, 9 seconds after Aho makes it 3-3, the way he just threw Noah Dobson away – and grab the puck. Martinook makes plays like that. Is there a player that you played with that reminds you of Jordan Martinook, or that Martinook reminds you of?
You know, he's very similar to Jarvie in that it doesn't matter where he is, he's going to give you 1,000,000%, and he's going to score those goals. You know, Jarvie's obviously got more offense, but you know, Martinook's going to throw those goals in here and there. I don't know if it's like a Dallas Drake who was more physical than Marty, but Marty's physical, and you need to know when he's out there and that type of thing. Maybe a Mike Keane, who I played with in Montreal, is, you know, just a gritty son of a gun who you just know scores some big goals. But I think Marty's one of those guys who, when you're sitting in the locker room before the game and you start looking around like, what am I going to get from this guy? What's this guy bringing? You just look at him and you go, hell yeah, this guy, I know he's going to be there, and he's going to be on the tip of his toes, ready to run through a wall for all these guys in this room and the coach and that type of thing. So, but those guys are great to have. You know, the guys that you know are going to elevate in the playoffs, they're going to do everything the right way. And we got a bunch of those guys, and that's why, we're a great team, and that's why they have success, and we just want to keep seeing more and more of it.
Yeah, Sean Hill is joining us. A couple of more minutes with him. Rod says this about Martinook all the time. I know what I'm going to get. Like I know what I know when I put Martinook on the ice. I know exactly what I'm going to get. Same thing he says about the captain Jordan Staal. For me, I do 3 stars. I ignore what happens in the building. I give my own 3 stars after every game. I put all 3 of those guys. I had Jarvis as my first star, Staal as my second star last night. I just think that his physical presence all over the ice. He won 13 of 17 faceoffs. I know he only had the 1 point. Martinook had the goal, but Staal makes the pass on the Jarvis goal. I thought those 3 were the best players on the ice for Carolina. There were a lot of candidates because they were obviously dominant. But Jordan has grown into a great captain.
Right. Yeah, I think he's his game in the playoffs too. Sometimes in the regular season you're just kind of like, gosh, I wish he'd hit more. I wish he'd hit more. And you can tell now that he's. You don't have to ask that now. You don't have to wish for that now because he's laying guys out and he's bringing the heat. And the nice thing about that is that. You see that today and you see that yesterday and in game 1, but when we get to game 4 and if there's a game 5 and 6, whatever, hopefully not. But if there is, they're going to be feeling those hits that Jordo and Marty and all the guys were laying on him early in the series. And, that's big stuff. But, I think Jordan's one of those guys who's, you know exactly what you're getting with him too. And he's so dependable and such a big body, and he can get points, and obviously he's one of the best face-off guys there is. I mean, to know that, those type of stats and you're going out there to try and win a draw against the guy is probably a little bit deflating. But, just a big body who really knows how to get the guys in order, and it's not like he's just a rah-rah guy. He does it himself every shift. So great leaders, great leadership group that the team has, and a lot of guys that don't have letters on their jersey, but they're leaders whether they have it or not.
There's no question about that. They are loaded in that department. Sean Hill, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Go make a sandwich, and we will talk to you very soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, Adam.
You got it. I'm sorry. Was it
Youngsville and Lewisburg? They're close.
Lewisburg is where his jersey Mike's is.
Yes.
Okay. I want to get that right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of traffic in Youngsville, but no Jersey Mike's.
I did not realize that there was clearly bad blood between the two towns. I didn't realize
I'm
that.
not aware of any bad blood, but
Okay,
maybe
so
I
we
should
don't
talk
have-
to Sean. And
So there's not a diss track
right.
somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, when we come back, Florida State versus the ACC. We're going to get a read for where we are. There was another hearing yesterday in Tallahassee. David McKenzie, intellectual property and constitutional law attorney, will join us to talk about it next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Robert in Raleigh, listening on 99.9 The Fan. What's up, Robert?
I gotta go. Leftovers, macaroni and cheese. Michelle, I know you don't eat leftovers. My wife grew up eating leftovers. She'll bake a peach pie from scratch, have one piece, and then it's old. And I've heard you talking about where the best pizza's from. If you've not had Pepe's, Sally's, or Modern Pizza, they're all right there in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yep. Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, with an idea. Scotty Scheffler, when he plays a golf tournament, well, he wins. So that's an easy one, right? FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold. Sign up right now. Make your first $5 wager, like on Scotty Scheffler maybe, and win or lose, and the only way he loses, I guess, is if he doesn't play, you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed just for signing up and using my name, Adam Gold, as the promo code. FanDuel.com, promo code Adam Gold to sign up. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and it makes everything else more fun. FanDuel. Must be 21 and older and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only, $10 deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's Bo time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or a 2 bird dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
It's Truck Month at your local Ram dealer, and now's the time to get great deals on our award-winning lineup of trucks. At Ram, all we do is trucks. Maybe that's why Ram is the most awarded light-duty and heavy-duty truck brand over the last 5 years. Ram trucks feature innovative technology and uncompromised power and dependability that give you the power to strengthen your truck game. Go to Ram.com for great deals and hurry in for the best selection of trucks during Ram Truck Month. Based on total full-size pickup awards 2019 to 2023 CYTD, based on standard and available features offered.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Charlotte this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 25 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Harris Teeter, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel free. Just text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
This is Adam Gold.
I got news for you. If I see a hammerhead shark swimming near me in open water,
nope,
we're gone.
Bye.
We're done. I'll be on the dock.
I'm done. I've seen Jaws. You can't fool me.
Yeah, I'll be on the dock.
Yeah.
I'll be, or in the boat or something. I will not be.
Yeah.
I will not be in
No,
open
thank
water.
you.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. We'll spend some more time talking about the Canes with a 2-0 lead on the Islanders in this best-of-7 quarterfinal series. Just in terms of historical numbers about it real quick, the difference between losing Game 2 and winning Game 2 in terms of the percentage chance of winning the series. This is historically, and I always point these things out first. None of the numbers, none of the percentages really matter. They're just telling you what happened in the past. It doesn't tell you what will happen in the future. I always want to do that because this is just probability and statistics, right? Historically speaking, home teams who win Game 1 and win Game 2 to take a 2-0 lead in series in best-of-7s in the NHL have had just short of an 89% chance of winning the series. At some point, might be 7, but if you win Games 1 and 2 at home, you have an 89% chance of winning the series. Had the Islanders won last night, and at one point, more than halfway through the second period, it was 3-0, and it looked like they were going to win. It was 3-2, even with 2.5 minutes to go. Had the Islanders won, the Hurricanes' percentage chance of winning the series drops to like 56%. But again, those are just historical numbers and have really no basis on anything. And I always use this as an example. A baseball series, American League Championship Series in 2004. The Red Sox trailed 3-0. And everybody will declare it over. And I get it. And the point that I tried to make, I picked Boston before the series, but that doesn't even matter at this point. No team has ever come back from 3-0 down to win a best-of-7 series at that point in baseball. And I always tried to point out, like, so what? It's going to happen at some point. It's like a 16 was always, at some point, was going to beat a 1 in the NCAA tournament. So the fact that until UMBC beat Virginia, it had never happened, it didn't matter that it had never happened, because that doesn't mean it can't happen. It can, and it will, and it did. In fact, it happened twice in, 4 years, right? 2018 or 5 years, in 2023. It happened. A 16 beat a 1. So the percentage chance didn't go up. I mean, it's just sports. And most of the analytics, most of this data is really about what happened before, not what will happen in the future. But invariably, we see these things, and I just think it's always important to point out that, yeah, none of it matters. All of the stats that we give you, it's just, this is what has happened. It has nothing to do with what will happen. And just like there's no stats, I believe, that you can point to in FSU versus the ACC to determine what ultimately is going to happen. David McKenzie, who's an intellectual property and constitutional law attorney, is joining us now on the Adam Gold Show. And you have written extensively, and I follow you on Twitter at McKenzie Law. And I lived vicariously through your timeline yesterday because I was unable to really pay attention to what was going on. I think they were live streaming the audio of the hearing. So I was just following along at McKenzie Law. And this is a fascinating issue for me because it speaks about the future of the Atlantic Coast Conference. So in a way, I want to start, go back a little bit before we go forward. What is Florida State's biggest or maybe strongest argument for why the grant of rights, which grants their media rights, their IP rights, actually, to the ACC, what's their strongest argument against the ACC at this point?
That they aren't getting enough money. Essentially.
Okay.
That there's been a change in contract, that there's been a change in market conditions by way of example, the SEC and the Big Ten scoring bigger deals, and that the market conditions have changed, and therefore, as being Florida State, and that they're in a bad deal, the market conditions have changed, and therefore they should be able to rescind the contract. Now, any of your listeners and you, Adam, will easily recognize that this is kind of a non sequitur, some might say ridiculous argument.
Right.
But that is essentially, if you look at their complaint, they filed two. The first one was pretty bad. The second one was arguably worse than the first. And both are basically premised on the idea that a bad deal was signed, and that should somehow justify the rescission or an undoing of the grant of rights agreement. In the second complaint, they do go a little bit further and really start getting into basically a Raycom Swofford conspiracy theory,
right?
And trying to argue that the ACC misrepresented and defrauded Florida State and its administration back in 2013 and 2016 when it signed these agreements voluntarily twice, and that really is the core of their argument. They are more recently invoking the concept of sovereign immunity, which is a very deep legal concept, to basically also break the grant of rights agreement, or alternatively to maybe renegotiate its terms. Now, interestingly, they're not offering to give the hundreds of millions of dollars that Florida State University received as a result of the grant of rights agreement. They're just basically saying, hey, this is a bad deal. other conferences, including UF, is making astronomically more money, and so therefore we should be able to rescind this contract. And I get that they're in a hard position, as all ACC schools are, but a change in market conditions has never been a ground to rescind or a defense to a contract.
David McKenzie, intellectual property lawyer, also constitutional law, and I know those both of those things applied to what happened yesterday as the state of Florida seems to get involved. I don't want to go down in the weeds because my head starts to throb when we get too deep into the legalese of all of this. What is the ACC's strongest legal argument to why Florida State is out of bounds?
Well, for one, Florida State signed this agreement. Again, there are two agreements, the first grant of rights agreement in 2013 and then the subsequent amendment in 2016. Florida State, while their best allegation of trying to get out of the contract is that somehow there was misrepresentations involved, but they signed this agreement. And you got to keep in mind, Adam, that we're talking about some of the most sophisticated individuals who were operating on behalf of Florida State at the time of these signings. In 2013, Eric was a PhD with a noted scientific career, surrounded by a general counsel's office that was full of licensed Florida lawyers who were advising him, signed the original agreement. Then again, in 2016, John Thrasher, a politician and a lawyer with a noted business career, signed the amendment. So it kind of strains credulity past its breaking point to suggest that these were uninformed individuals who didn't know what they were getting into. Now, notably, no other school, minus maybe Clemson, which has been far less, I would say, vociferous or just basically more simple in its approach, no other school has come forward to say, we were duped into signing this. As a matter of fact, I think Holden Thorpe is on record, the former chancellor at UNC, suggesting that everybody was in the room was aware. Everybody knew what was going on. Everybody was well aware. So the idea for the ACC's best argument, to answer your principal question, is that Florida State and Clemson included, and hey, I'm a Tiger fan. I was raised in Clemson, South Carolina. They signed this agreement. Their second best argument is that these two schools have gained millions from this deal, hundreds of millions of this deal, and then sat silent on it for over a decade. And when you do that, certain equitable principles in the law, contract law, will operate to bar your claim. And one of those is waiver and estoppel, and that certainly is applicable here as well. But also just as critical, and for you, Adam, and all your listeners to know, is these deals were signed in 2013 and 2016, man. It's 2024. And in any real world scenario, and I don't care if you're talking about Florida, South Carolina, or here in the Triangle, the statute of limitations is not going to extend that long. I mean, we're well past the statute of limitations here in North Carolina. It will be 3 years. And the grant of rights agreement will be interpreted under North Carolina law. So all of this for the ACC, Florida State and Clemson's complaints have sailed.
Okay, let me just ask you this, because I know yesterday's hearing in some way, maybe primarily, is about venue. To me, this is not a political issue. This is a simple issue of IP law and just the legality of it. So why should home court advantage, to use that phrase, why should home court advantage really matter here?
Well, Adam, Lord have mercy, you are right. It is a pretty simple matter. I mean, we're talking about contracts where people have signed, they voluntarily entered into, and that they got paid under. However, Florida State is making it as complicated as it possibly can be. Clemson's doing it a lot less so, but essentially in answer to your question on home field advantage, that has been in part decided and in part not decided. It's a little bit chaotic right now. In any typical situation where you have the same parties and the same fact pattern, which is exactly the case that's going on in Tallahassee, as well as what's going on in the North Carolina Business Court in Charlotte, you have one court stays the proceedings. So, because what you don't want to do is have chaos going on in parallel proceedings that could result in different rulings on the same fact patterns. That's just simply a comity, as we call it in the law, norm. And one judge simply defers to the other until the outcome of that case. That happened in the University of Maryland case. If you may recall, back in 2012 and then 2013, the ACC filed suit in Greensboro. Subsequent to that, shortly thereafter, the University of Maryland filed a lawsuit against the ACC in the state of Maryland. Well, because the heart of everything happened in the state of North Carolina, including the negotiations, the meetings, and everything that would arise under the ACC Constitution, and at that time it was just talking about a liquidated damages penalty, but the court in Maryland stayed that action. This time what we have is a little bizarre because even though we have all the core, what we call nucleus of facts, if you will, happened in North Carolina, including the signings, the negotiations, the meetings regarding the grant of rights agreement, that would, before you even get to something called priority, that would militate in favor of North Carolina having venue in this matter. For reasons I really can't understand, the Florida court didn't agree with it and wants to proceed on a parallel track.
Yeah, none of that matters. But let's just say it does go to a Florida court. Won't any appeal go up and we get ultimately into U.S. District Court? No?
Yeah, the chance of going to federal court has failed, and there's for a number of reasons. I won't get into the minutia of that, but for one, this is fundamentally an IP dispute.
Right.
It's a copyright dispute. And when you have a copyright agreement, those are interpreted under traditional contract principles, and that's a question of state law. So like, was there duress? Was there fraud in the copyright license agreement? That kind of thing. And those are going to be interpreted under state law. So there's not really, until somebody alleges an explicit federal question, there's really no ground to go to federal court. In addition, there's not what's called diversity jurisdiction because of the ACC being a voluntary association. And then finally, it doesn't matter. You only have 30 days from the date of service to remove to federal court. Neither the ACC did that in Tallahassee, and Florida State didn't do it in Charlotte. So that shit failed. And so what we have here are two parallel cases that, may go up on appeal. And I should remind you, Adam, that one's already on appeal. I haven't seen it docketed in Raleigh yet, but the Florida State did, to remind everybody that Judge Bledsoe, who's a long-term jurist on the North Carolina Business Court, has been on there for a couple decades by now. He has already listened. He's already heard the bulk, or actually all of the pending motions by Florida State. And he has already issued a 76-page decision teeming with legal reasoning that is adverse to Florida State. Florida State has appealed that to the North Carolina Supreme Court. Now, just so everybody's aware, the business court is probably the most powerful trial court in the nation because you don't stop in Raleigh at the Court of Appeals. You go directly to the North Carolina Supremes.
Okay.
So that's already on its way. And it does appear that the court in Charlotte is going to retain some jurisdiction and proceed on those issues that are not really all that appealable. And that includes the interpretation of the grant of rights agreement.
All right. So
sure, go ahead.
I just want to kick this forward a little bit, and I'm going to get you to kind of project, if you could, David McKenzie, intellectual property attorney here on the Adam Gold Show. If the North Carolina Supreme Court says ultimately to Florida State, look, it's a contract you signed. If you want to negotiate with the Atlantic Coast Conference to get out, that's up to you. But this is a contract that you entered into willingly, knowingly, 2 different times. So this contract applies. What's the path forward for Florida State other than trying to negotiate their way out?
Well, the North Carolina Supreme Court is only going to answer the question on sovereign immunity, and that's the only real viable issue on appeal. The trial court, I think, is going to retain jurisdiction and have those things. Well, this is a binding contract, Florida State. You can pay to get out. Now, what that number is subject to a lot of interpretation. So I think that you may have actually within the state of North Carolina 2 parallel proceedings, one resolving the appellate issue, and then the other resolving the issues that remain before the trial court. Specifically, so at the Supreme, sovereign immunity, at the business court, the validity of the grant of rights. Unfortunately, you're going to also have something going on down in Florida. Now, that's moving much slower than we are here in North Carolina.
Right. I just know that from reading your timeline. You were like, I thought we were just going to be here for a couple of hours. Now we're taking a lunch break, and now we're coming back and we're spending too much time on other stuff. Would you advise the ACC to negotiate?
Absolutely not. I know that's a pretty strong statement, but absolutely not. This is a situation where, yeah, and I'm not trying to. I wish I could be this confident about all my cases, but the ACC is honestly sitting on a case that is so strong that folding right now would be like folding with a royal flush, as I've said. It has incredibly strong case based on IP and contract law. Florida State is just throwing anything at the wall to see if it will stick. So I think my advice to the ACC, obviously I'm not representing them, is absolutely not. Don't settle. And by the way, do you not think that their constituent members like Wake or Duke or BC or even Carolina and NC State here in the Triangle, do you not think that they have their interests deeply connected to this? Because if Florida State were to somehow yank ESPN around or devalue the value of their own media rights, I just think that the ACC is in a position of strength. It's unlikely their constituent members want any folding.
From the very beginning, I thought my position was if the ACC negotiates a number, then they are negotiating the end of the league. Now, the league might end anyway. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? I think college sports is going to look drastically different 5 years from now. Anyway, so, but I wouldn't. I agree. I would not negotiate with anybody, and I think everybody's just going to have to make do with just your $45 million in shared media rights revenue. David McKenzie, intellectual property attorney, constitutional law expert as well, at McKenzie Law on Twitter. I hope you'll come back. I thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam.
Take care. David McKenzie here on the Adam Gold Show. Like, sometimes we hear these issues and it makes your head ache. Like we go back to this story breaking it's got to be like 4 months ago, right?
Feels like forever ago.
The very first thing I said about this case is that it just sounds to me like Florida State is just trying to force a settlement. First thing I said about it. We don't even have to get into it. And I remember talking to an attorney, somebody not named David McKenzie, who said the first question you would ask Florida State is the signature of whoever was in charge of that signature? Is this your signature? Yes. Did you get money from this deal? Yes. We're done here. Willingly entered. The only thing that Florida State could prove, and I think David McKenzie was mentioned this, was that somehow the Atlantic Coast Conference intentionally screwed over the schools. I mean, I guess anything is possible. I think that is highly dubious. So, to me, Florida State has always been about forcing a settlement. The ACC doesn't want to be caught up in court, and it always sucks to have a hostile, club member, if you will. But I think all of the people, every single person arguing, trying to make cases why Florida State is somehow in the right, every single person has an agenda in this matter. If Florida State, like if you're the ACC, I'll negotiate, but here's the starting point. The starting point is based on the grant of rights, based on what you have essentially agreed to with the league. Full value. That's my starting point. And full value of that is not what you would earn in the ACC, but what you would earn from your spot in another league, assuming you could get one. And I think Florida State would get one. All right, so if you get $90 million a year from the Big Ten, okay, $90 million times however many years we've got until 2036 when the ACC's media contract expires, plus your exit fee. That's where we start. Where do you start? And then we'll see if I don't believe the ACC ever does that. I think the ACC just says, Florida State, you're in the league. Sorry. You're part of us. And when Bubba Cunningham, we should go back and get the Bubba Cunningham clip when he was on with us.
Yeah.
And look, Bubba Cunningham was part of that Magnificent Seven. I don't know about Bubba Cunningham was part of that Magnificent Seven. Remember that Magnificent Seven of the schools that met, figuring out, like, what are we going to do? How do we, whatever.
Barking.
So, and Bubba said what I would tell Florida State. He said this to us. It's like, be a good teammate. And when the contract is up, feel free to go.
Sure.
But right now, this is where we are.
Be a team player.
So, look, everybody wants to make more money. There isn't a single solitary human business entity.
Until money isn't worth anything, until it's pointless, it'll always be important.
Everybody wants to make more money. And if you are directly competing with somebody else and they make more money than you, we could put it into any sport. There are teams, even under the construct of hockey or basketball or baseball or football, where, hey, they make more money than us. How do we even that? Hey, that's how we agree to a bunch of capitalists living in a socialist world in the NFL. They're very anti-socialism until it comes to, hey, the Cowboys shouldn't make more money than the Packers. They shouldn't have more money to spend than the Packers. So we put everybody, they've convinced the players that this is the way to work. They've put everybody in one group, give everybody the same amount of money to spend. Within reason, you can always get around it because there are always loopholes in salary caps. But ultimately, you should be able to make do. You should be able to figure it out. I'll use a baseball example, then we'll hit a break because we have stretching because I need to limber up, and we have bets to play, to make or place or whatever we do.
Speaking of money, I wish I would have put real money on my bets yesterday.
Really?
We'll get to that.
Well,
but I didn't.
The second period was not the highest scoring period.
No, it was not.
Then wouldn't have worked out for me. Somehow the Tampa Bay Rays make it work. Right? They have a terrible stadium. They have horrible attendance.
Yep.
They don't have a great TV deal.
Nope.
Their payroll is low, and yet they win.
Yeah.
Now, they're not killing it this year, by the way. I think they're in last place. They're over 500, but they're in last place. And yet the Yankees or the Dodgers, who have, a license to print money. Let's use the Yankees as an example. Over the last 20 years, who's won more, the Yankees or the Rays? Tampa by a smidge.
Right.
That they haven't won a World Series.
True.
The Yankees have won in 2009. Yeah. But ultimately, in terms of making the playoffs, being good, all of that,
consistent.
They're pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing similar about those two franchises.
Definitely not
their
the money.
Success. So the Rays have figured out a way to make it work. I would simply point to Florida State, like, why can't you guys get smart and figure out how to make it work? Why do you have to have what your neighbors have? It seems narrow to me, but not being that guy, maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. All right, we're going to stretch, and we're going to place bets, and more than that. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
People who are pregnant who have syphilis or contract syphilis can have children with profound health outcomes. Congenital syphilis is 100% preventable. I mean, it's treated by the oldest antibiotic known to man, penicillin. We need to make sure that people have access to testing and people have access to treatment and that we don't delay.
Find testing and learn more about syphilis at syphilis.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Charlotte this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 25 different sports. The Body Armor State Games features 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Harris Teeter, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public Power Communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Hi, Darcy the cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. Get a better-looking lawn with Black Cow. Apply to your lawn as top dressing and get 10 times more nutrients than topsoil. Black Cow will feed your lawn, your flower beds, and vegetable gardens for up to 3 months. Oh yeah, everything grows better with sun, water, and Black Cow.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Having health insurance is important. So, if you or anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check your mail for a renewal form from your state. Complete the form and mail it back right away so you don't lose your coverage. If you do lose Medicaid or CHIP, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Keep your family covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Fair housing is more than just a celebration in April. For North Carolina's realtors, it's an everyday standard. For the 56,000 realtors across our state, we embrace and support fair housing to stamp out discrimination in all forms. As realtors, we believe fairness is worth fighting for, and we won't stop until the fight is won. Celebrating Fair Housing Month, North Carolina Realtors. We open doors to everyone. Paid for by North Carolina Realtors.
NC Medicaid is for more people like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers.
Full health care coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
NASCAR stars shine at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. The NASCAR All-Star Race, Sunday, May 19th. Get your single-day tickets now and see NASCAR's best battle it out on one of NASCAR's most historic tracks. Country music phenom Warren Ziders rocks the pre-race stage, free with your race ticket. Only North Wilkesboro Speedway can deliver this kind of all-star action and excitement. The NASCAR All-Star Race. Get your single-day tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
This is Adam Gold.
North Carolinians wagered $659,308,541 on sports.
It's a little bit.
Treat it as entertainment only. Just look at it as fun.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. Canes get an extra day off. Canes are off. They're doing nothing today. They will practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
They will fly to Long Island after practice tomorrow. And my guess is, if I read the room correctly, they probably won't skate in the morning on Thursday before the game on Thursday night. They have really done, I don't even know what to call it, a good job, but they have really done, Rod has spaced out practices, practice when necessary, but ultimately, if they can avoid pregame skates, they do. They meet, they go through video, but they just don't get on the ice. They have been, I think, very judicious about all of that. The other thing we're looking at is Brett Pesce and what his injury status is. But after the game last night, Rod Brindamore didn't make it seem like it was a positive outlook.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it'll turn out. All right, time to stretch. Oh, our seventh inning stretch. What do we got?
Lots of stretching. So I cannot wait for this. I saw this article, and oh man, I can't wait. Tom Brady, he is about to be roasted live on Netflix. This is happening. I cannot wait. This is going to happen May 5th. I'm glad he's being a good sport about this because people are going to be coming in hard for Tom Brady roasts. So he seems to be, I guess, a good sport about this. But it is going to be a live special on Netflix. It's called The Greatest Roast of All Time, Tom Brady. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Kevin Hart is going to be hosting this, so it's already funny, like just with Kevin Hart.
Right.
Taking place in California, and it's part of Netflix is a Joke Festival. Never heard of it, but now I'm ready for it.
All right.
No guests have been announced. However, roast master Jeff Ross will be there, and Jeff has already said in a trailer, quote, "We're coming for you, pretty boy." So let's go. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. So yeah, it should be a good time, especially if you feel some type of way about Tom Brady. Now, you may not feel some type of way about this. It's a little weird. So, I'm a big cheese fan. Love cheese.
Okay.
However, shredded cheese. Have you ever noticed that with shredded cheese, there's like this stuff on the outside of it that keeps it from clumping? It's kind of like this white whatever stuff. I don't know if you've noticed. I say stuff because it's different stuff. It's an anti-caking agent that keeps the shreds from sticking and lumping together. Now, Kraft will use cornstarch.
Right.
This one says Tillamook uses potato starch. Sargento uses powdered cellulose, which is refined wood pulp. So,
nice.
Delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
They use that a lot in Parmesan, like shake Parmesan cheese.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. And see, the face, if you're watching us, the face that Adam made is how I feel about eating this stuff too. So there's a social trend where people have been washing their shred cheese. I didn't know about this. They're using like a colander and they're rinsing it and then drying it with paper towels. This is not a great idea because not only are you washing this stuff off, but you are washing off the mold inhibitors that are on this shred cheese. So your cheese can mold faster. This is such a weird conversation.
Like, do people really do this?
Apparently so.
Honestly, I think you've got a problem. If you're washing the shredded cheese, yes.
Yeah.
Don't wash your cheese.
Yeah. You know how
Not
you
in front of
avoid
others.
all of this. Yeah, you just wash your shred cheese on your own time.
Yeah.
No, the way you avoid this is buying block cheese and just shredding it yourself, which I highly recommend. That's what I do for myself.
That's what you should do.
Exactly. Don't be washing your cheese, but
That's
one
gross.
thing you should
It
do
just sounds gross.
is make good bets.
Well, you can't help.
I bet you slice into the woods $100. Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide. Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
Oh, man, I went 2 for 2. Aho scored, and
Good.
Mark Stone, first goal last night.
Oh, really?
He was plus 300, and I didn't have one real unit on him.
What are you doing?
I know, just the fake ones.
What are you doing?
So tonight, I'm sticking with the ice. The Capitals taking on those Rangers again so they can get this sweep over with. Give me Artemi Panarin anytime goal scorer because he's still plus money.
He is.
I don't understand. Plus 135.
All right, let's parlay 2 underdogs on the road. All right, I think Tampa evens their series with Florida. They're at plus 146, 145. Nashville at Vancouver. I like Nashville's game. They got away from them late. 2 goals in a short period of like 12 seconds. Took them from a goal up to a goal down. Parlay the Lightning and the Predators, and that comes in at 420, plus 420.
Nice.
And
Well,
then you could do that.
my last one, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Panthers. Stick with what's been working. Nikita Kucherov, anytime goal score, plus 170.
Ooh,
I know.
That's a lot. All right,
him.
we're going to do the Wall of Sound when we come back. And John Forsland joins us next hour as well.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, and we're going to save you thousands of dollars in closing cost money. Here's how we do it. Don't pay them. That's right, you can do that. Or you can not do that, as the case may be. Don't pay closing costs because it's not a good deal for you. Closing costs, bunch of fees that usually add up to about $5,000, depending on the size of your home loan. And all it really does is lower your monthly payment by about $50. But if Gordon takes care of that, and you simply keep your thousands of dollars. When the rates come down, and they will, especially in an election year, that always happens, you refinance, lower your monthly payment, save yourself thousands again, and lower your payment, save hundreds. Like the guy down the street who paid fees, you're paying the same rate or maybe even lower, and you haven't paid closing costs not a dime. I've had 11 mortgages with Miller Lending. Never, ever have I paid a dime in closing costs. I've saved about $50,000. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
Gear up with up to $100 off select handguns during the Smith & Wesson event at Academy Sports and Outdoors. From April 18th to April 28th, get range ready at a store near you. Or find your next favorite firearm online with free ship to store. Hurry, this event ends soon.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 919-400-5473. That's 919-400-5473. In Cary, Clayton, Raleigh, and Wake Forest, 919-400-5473.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Alice Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When people come over to the showroom, they see all of these great doors. I'm not saying that this is what you guys specialize in. You specialize in everything, but let's talk some doors.
The doors are a great way to beautify your home. And when you come into the showroom, one of the first things I ask you to do is to open and close the door. It's a big difference. So with the doors, you pick out the hardware, you pick out the colors, you pick out the style. They come in fiberglass, they come in steel. We got multiple glass options. It's a great way to improve your home. It's easy to do. It's affordable. And these doors, a lot of times you go in and out the door 10, 20 times a day. You might open the windows 10 times a year.
Though that is true. By the way, I'm not sure I've ever walked through my front door.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, we use the back door.
The back door is side door. We do those also.
All right. That's Dallas Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. 800-672-4348 on Hamlin Road in Durham. AluminumCompany.com. Check them out if you need a door.
Hey, everyone. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater. And this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Shoots, he scores!
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
DiVincenzo to the corner, Brunson with 6, pulls for 3, off the rim and in! Got the bounce, 2-point game. 27 seconds to go, inbound to Maxey, nearly poked away, still loose, I don't hear a whistle. Hart took it away to DiVincenzo for 3, missed it. Hartenstein grabs the offensive rebound, and the Knicks another shot. DiVincenzo for 3 in the lead, 13 seconds to go. Back-to-back threes with a steal in between. And this place is going wild.
It's interesting last night at the hockey game. By the way, I'm Adam Gold. This is the Adam Gold Show. Because we had at least two games. I didn't intensely follow the NBA last night. But we know what happened with the Hurricanes and the Islanders and the comeback from 3-0 down more than midway through the game to win 5-3 in regulation. But the Knicks and the Sixers had a weird game. Like the Knicks had a big lead, blew it. Philadelphia had a lead that should have been enough to win it late, blew that. It was some refereeing controversy with, did Nick Nurse call a timeout? Looked to me like he was trying to, but he also didn't look like he was aggressively trying to. Like he wasn't making sure that everybody knew he was calling a timeout. It almost looked like he was doing just enough to say, hey, I was calling a timeout, without necessarily calling attention to himself. Which, if you really wanted a timeout, you probably should have done that. I don't know. Whatever. Lakers lost at the buzzer to the Nuggets. They have now lost 6 consecutive playoff games to Denver, which shouldn't surprise any of us who watched the Lakers or the Nuggets throughout the course of this season anyway. Nuggets are significantly better than the Lakers, no matter how good LeBron James still is at his age. But there were a lot of close games last night in the playoffs, none of which were played by Boston.
None.
The Celtics are really good. I'm looking forward to who would the Celtics? They're the 1 seed. The Knicks are the 2, so they wouldn't play until the conference finals. That would be old school fun for the networks to have a New York-Boston Eastern Conference final. I don't think the Knicks are that good. They're struggling with Philadelphia right now, but who knows? Who knows? It's good. The NBA playoffs will pick up on it pretty soon, I'm sure. Right now, it's time for Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
And this won't come as a huge surprise. Hurricanes hockey last night. Let's get to the head coach, Rod Brindamore. After the game, in the locker room, I don't know how much of the postgame did you listen to? Did you listen to any of the postgame?
I did a little bit, yes.
So Graham Hill, our jack of all trades, master of many, around here. By the way, helps me out on the Canes Corner podcast, so I thank him for doing a lot of the social media stuff. So he was curious because the team always spits out these Rod Brindamore, locker room chats, and there's usually a lot of goal horns involved, and that's what they use as opposed to the when they bleep out foul language. They use a goal horn, which is pretty clever. Anyway, he was on a kick last. He was asking everybody about how many times did we use the goal horn for Rod Brindamore's speech. I just thought that was a fun question to ask. He asked a lot of people. Anyway, what was Rod's message to the team after the win?
Coach Rod, after coming from behind victory like that, the emotions of it at the very end of the game, just what's your message that you have to your team when you enter the locker room? Is there a certain guy that you pull to the side and say, thanks for getting it going tonight?
It's a good point. I mean, I think I can't only pinpoint one guy. I mean, there was a bunch of guys that played really well. Jarvie was phenomenal. Special was phenomenal. I mean, I could keep going with Seabass, Jordo, Martin. I mean, everybody was just on it. We gave him a couple. It wasn't, how we'd like to start, that's for sure. Although we had a good start. There was a couple plays in there where we didn't execute and they did. But again, the story is just that we kept going, and that's what I love about this group because you've watched them all year and really for a long time, and they don't stop.
They didn't. They played through all of it. Again, it was at one point 3-0 Islanders. It was really 3 games last night. First dozen minutes was exactly what Carolina wanted, with one caveat. I didn't think Carolina was particularly dangerous, right? I didn't think they were great offensively, but they had the puck. They controlled the game. Until about 6.5 minutes were left in the first period, the Islanders had 0 shots on goal. None. You can't score without shots on goal. Theoretically you could. But they had none. Then it started to turn a little bit. 4-on-4 hockey turned in the favor of the Islanders. And I thought the best 2 chances they had, Brock Nelson's shot, good save by Freddie Anderson with the glove, and then the Kyle Palmieri goal. This is at 4-on-4. After that, I think Carolina got a power play, but they were a mess with the puck. just awful with the puck. And that kind of fizzled out. They won faceoffs and were bad with the puck after. Actually, Aho won a faceoff too well, and he cleared the zone himself, winning a faceoff. And Carolina, for about 10 or so game minutes, the end of the first period, the beginning of the second period, I thought the Hurricanes were a little bit of a mess. And the Islanders scored all 3 of their goals in that stretch. Early in the second period, the power play goal from Anders Lee made it 3-0. But after that, Carolina started getting back to their game. Had a couple of long shifts, didn't get anything out of it, blah, blah, blah. The Teuvo Teravainen power play goal with about 6 minutes left in the second period gave them an opportunity, and then they dominated. Completely dominated the game from that point on. All the way basically through the finish line. It just took them a while to get even. It took them till 2:15 were left when Aho scored on the goal mouth tip-in of a Svechnikov. I think it was a pass. I don't think it was a shot. It was too perfect a pass to be a shot. And that made it 3-3. 9 seconds later, Martinook made it 4-3 with the big boy goal through Noah Dobson, Carolina Islanders defenseman. I don't know if you saw this, or I don't know what his Twitter handle is, but somebody who actually does a lot of, he has got a Substack with Carolina Hurricanes stats. It's actually pretty good. His name is Gary. On Twitter, was at the game last night, and with his phone, tried to capture the crowd after the Aho goal. So he's got his video, his camera, taking in the video of what PNC Arena, I forgot the name of the arena, PNC Arena was like after the Aho goal.
Did his phone explode?
Well, no, but it's super loud, obviously. And while he was filming it, he kept it rolling, and he captured the Martinook goal. Now, he's from the other side of the rink, so you don't get a clear look, but you see everybody going bonkers. Speaking of Martinook, what shifts, what changes in your mind being down 3-0?
Yeah, I think, especially after we got that power play goal, like obviously you don't want to go down 3-0, and we're going to make sure we don't make a habit of that. But that power play goal was huge. And then I think the last probably 8 minutes of the second period, we were in their zone, and just it felt like we were starting to take the game over. In the third period, obviously you ride that momentum that you built in the second and just try and keep it going. I felt in the third it was just wave after wave. We were coming at them, and we didn't give them anything, which is key. And then obviously you push that hard, you're hopefully going to get a couple, and luckily we did.
Yeah, you got 4 in the third period. Jordan Stahl, describe what happened.
I don't know. It was exciting memories. You don't. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, amazing. I don't know. All the things, all the above, obviously. Just a great effort from everyone just to stick with it. We kind of gave them a couple, and we started taking over the game, obviously, and just finding ways. And we knew we could take right to the last minute, which it did, and we found a way to get the W.
I kept waiting, expecting him to say found a way to get the 2 points. Like, you don't get points, you get just a win. And Seth Jarvis, who scored the goal, Martinook referred to. It was the goal that made it 3-2, middle of the third period. Picked a good time, apparently, to get his first playoff goal.
Feels great. I had a lot of chances tonight. It's nice being back with my boy. He always helps me get out of slumps, so it's been fun. And I'm just happy I can contribute in postseason.
All right. First of all, Seth Jarvis, you were not in a slump. He was referring to Jordan Martinook, and we'll talk about this with John Forzen in a little bit. Seth Jarvis, and we said this with the first time we saw Jarvis play with Stahl and Martinook. He kind of fits. The way Jarvis enjoys playing is in many ways the way Jordan Stahl and Jordan Martinook play. Seth can play a lot of different ways, but I think he gets a kick out of being like the energy, physical presence. He is small dog who thinks he's a big dog. And if you're a dog person, you know what I'm talking about. Because these little small dogs,
Chihuahuas.
Oh God, no.
Jack Russells.
Maybe more Jack Russell.
Corgis.
I don't know. Yeah, Harriet is a bully.
Yeah.
Harriet, like Earl the Weimaraner's, like he's twice as big as her, and she's constantly bullying him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Small little packages. Poodles. Small
if
poodles
I
are
called
like
Seth
that.
Jarvis a corgi, how would he take it? All right, we're going to talk to John Forsland. TNT, he'll be on the call of the Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets coming up later in the week. He will join us next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Canes fans, game on.
Let's go Canes!
Let's go Canes!
It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Let's go Hurricanes!
Go Canes!
Let's go Canes!
Gensel with a second try. Swayman can't see it. They score!
Rebound score, Seth Jarvis.
What a save by Anderson!
Ride with us for every heart-stopping game. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is the retirement planning specialist, guru, maven, whatever you want to call him. He has a game plan tailor-made for your retirement. You just don't know it yet. Now all you have to do is get to him, and you can call 888-843-0013 or text my name, Adam, to 600-700, and we're going to unlock a whole bunch of free stuff for you. Here's one thing he can do for you. This sounds very football-y. Advance and protect. I think you want to do that with any good offensive line. Just like that football team in Charlotte needs a good offensive line. Advance and protect. You'd have to ask him about it. Coach Pete DeRuta has all sorts of strategies for your financial planning in retirement. 888-843-0013. This total customized retirement game plan for you, free of charge, if you call that number today or text Adam to 600-700. Yes, a $1,000 value. Text Adam to 600-700 for financial freedom in retirement with Coach Pete DeRuta.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or a 2 Bird Dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
To tell you that Keno picks 20 winning numbers, we wrote a winning number of our own. Hit it, boys. You pick up to 10. Keno picks 20. It's easy to play for a whole lot of money. Winning numbers are everywhere with Keno from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win a prize range from 1 in 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
CertaPro Painters knows how important your home is to you. That's why they're focused on helping you bring a fresh color to your home. And you know you can trust CertaPro Painters to get the job done right, even in those hard-to-reach places. I'm Adam Gold. I had them do my house one time, and we have vaulted ceilings. They did it all. And each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. In other words, they live right here in our community. You can schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
This is Adam Gold.
I got news for you. If I see a hammerhead shark swimming near me in open water,
nope,
we're gone.
Bye.
We're done. I'll be on the dock.
I'm done. I've seen Jaws. You can't fool me.
Yeah, I'll be on the dock.
Yeah.
I'll be, or in the boat or something. I will not be.
Yeah.
I will not be in
No,
open
thank
water.
you.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Saturday, game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series between the Hurricanes and the Islanders. We have, when we get to the playoffs, national TV is there as well as local. And we had a chance to get John Forsland back in the building. Of course, I was too busy to come by, and I still regret that. But I'm confident that we will see John down the road. He joins us before he gets on a plane in a couple of days to go out to Denver to do the Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets. Sir, I appreciate your time. It was good to see you this morning as you kind of breezed through here. But no, it was good. I wish I could spend. Yeah. I really wish I had more time on Saturday to kind of hang out and shoot the breeze. But
you're busy, Adam. You're very busy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as it turns out, yes. But and it's good. I hope there's a lot more opportunity to kind of cross paths over the next 2 months here.
I hope so.
Was last night more about Carolina or more about New York in the last 30 minutes of that game?
Whoa. I guess it would be a combination, but really it was about the Hurricanes figuring out on the fly where they need to go with their game, how hard they're going to have to play shift after shift. If you're going to live by the slogan of cause chaos, you got to do it, and they have. And you're going to have to be able to apply pressure on a team that can't keep up and is not as good, and, put them in a position where there's a little seed of doubt. And the Islanders, to their credit, have a pretty good plan in place of how they want to have some kind of success in this series. And they've been able to impose that on the Hurricanes for the better part of 4 periods. Now, it really doesn't matter because it's 2-0 in the series, and that's all that matters. But the Canes were able to wake up. So to answer your question, I think it's more about them, and it was more about the Islanders being victimized in a position where they were tasered by the end of the game. They had just had no idea, which end was up, and that certainly showed on the ensuing face-off where Martinook scores 9 seconds later. So incredible game, and Rod's absolutely right. That's one for the memory bank.
Yeah.
Going to go way down in NHL history, franchise history, all those things. I wish I was there to see it live myself, but it was incredible. Incredible.
It really was. The Martinook goal, I mean, it's just, in retrospect, it's so simple. You just win a faceoff. Jack Jury throws it behind the net. Martinook goes, throws Noah Dobson out of the way, takes the puck and puts it in the net. Like, it just seems like everybody should be able to do that. I did think the Islanders were shook. And Patrick Waugh called his timeout after that goal.
Yeah.
You could make the argument, and I did this on the podcast after that, it was they were obviously visibly like shaken by the Aho goal that tied the game. That should have called the timeout maybe then, just to say, hey guys, we're okay. It's 3-3. We haven't lost the game. Let's get back to doing. But I mean, these things are so much easier after the fact. Would something like that? I mean, who knows? Would something like that have worked? I mean, we don't see it all. We see it in basketball, calling timeouts to stem momentum. You don't see it in other sports.
Well, they only have one, right, as opposed to other sports. So the hockey coach only has one timeout. And I would think I'm with you. I think he should have, and I think it is hindsight, but it's not completely hindsight, because if you're thinking about it at the time, then that's probably what should have happened because of this. The old phrase in hockey is you get bounces only if you earn your bounces, right?
Yep.
And on both goals, there was fortuitous bounces involved, okay? On the play that Aho scores on, Pelech loses his stick, gets caught out of position. I think Svechnikov's intention maybe was to shoot it on goal. It ends up going to the side. Horvat blows the coverage.
Yeah.
So they get a little bit of a bounce. They get a nice extra attacker goal. But the Islanders, and even Waugh said it after the game, they blew the coverage on the play. So if there's blown coverage, don't you call a timeout to address that.
Yeah.
Don't you, settle it down. You're not going to quiet the crowd down. The crowd's long gone now. The roof's been blown off the building. The Caniacs are going crazy. That's not the point. The point is, boys, we got some time here to get to overtime. We'll get to the room, and we'll regroup. So everybody get back on point. He never said that. They drop the puck. It goes in the zone. Martinook comes in, flying, knocks Dobson off the puck, and then when he attempts to stuff it, it looks like he's actually centering it, and it goes off Varlamov.
Yep.
So that's a bounce, too. It wasn't really a wraparound, right? So it's good luck, it's great luck, and it's also earned luck. And it's a missed opportunity by the Islanders. I don't know how they recover from this, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think we're going to have two new goalies, too, on Thursday. I think we'll see Pyotr Kochetkov. I think Carolina won 2 games, and while, in my opinion, Frederik Andersen was the first star on Saturday, I thought the first half of his game on Saturday was just okay, and maybe that's giving him the benefit of the doubt. I thought the second half of his game was excellent, and he was, to me, the reason they won, which is why I gave him my first star. But I didn't think Freddie was all that great yesterday, and I think it's a good spot to get Kochetkov into the series, knowing that you're going to go to Anderson on Saturday because it's a quick turnaround. It's a night game, 2 days later, day game. And I think that if you're the Islanders, Sorokin is really your guy. Varlamov, who committed the penalty that really opened the door. I mean, it's just a silly 3-0 lead tripping penalty on Steph Nason that gave Carolina the extra power play, and Teuvo Teravainen scored the goal. I think it's a good time for Patrick Waugh to go back to Sorokin. But I'm one of those people who thinks that anything can turn. And if the Islanders can get one, they can get another.
Well, here it is, right? So of the 4 goalies, I think it's fair to say that the best of the 4, the most elite, or at least the potential to be elite in where they have been, is Sorokin, right? So he's the real deal. And Freddie Andersen has been a terrific goalie over time. At this stage of his career, there's wear and tear, there's issues, and he's done a great job to come back. Kochetkov is a young, budding goalie with a ton of potential and talent. That's good too. The key here is, how does it affect the team? And like we saw last night with Boston, in this case with the Hurricanes, Rod's not going to affect his locker room by changing goalies.
Right.
It's not going to be a shockwave. The other guy's playing. They're used to this. So if they're used to this from the regular season, and it's gone back and forth, and you even throw in Spencer Martin every once in a while, that they're used to it, and they play the same way. The numbers tell us that. The numbers for Carolina goalies over Rod's tenure have always been spectacular because his defensive system is so good. So it doesn't matter if it's Peter Mrazek or Curtis McElhinney or James Reimer or Nedeljkovic. They're all good. They've all been good here.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is a byproduct of the system. At the other end, Varlamov's time will run at some point. 35-year-old goalie with a ton of experience. But to be fair, Sorokin wore down, wasn't right. They went to Varlamov. He got hot. And maybe now, it's on E. Maybe the tank's on E, and it's time to change. And the only thing the Islanders have maybe in their favor in this series is a 2-day break to reset completely.
Right.
Okay? If they were playing tomorrow night, I think it'd be a little bit different. But they're going to get 2 days away from this. And then, like the Hurricanes did way back when they went to a young, inexperienced goalie to turn around a series in Cam Ward, it's game 3 is when you do it. Now, if the Islanders have any chance at all, Sorokin needs to be lights out if he gets it in game 3, which he should. He needs to take over the series, and they will ride him. Whereas Rod can go back and forth with his 2 goalies, and they just need to do what they need to do. Keep the team in a position to win the game.
But I want to ask you about another couple of series real quick, but for somebody, I've watched Seth Jarvis now all 3 years. I remember him as a rookie, and he had a little bit of flash. You could tell he was a good offensive player, and he had a good rookie season. Last year, he had less production in more games, but was, to me, a significantly better all-around player. They taught him the defensive game. They made him concentrate that way. And I just don't have real words to describe what I've seen from him this year. He leads them in forward time shorthanded, playing on the top shorthanded pair with Jordan Stahl. He won a couple of key draws yesterday, one in the defensive zone, one in the offensive zone. And he plays like, I keep using this phrase, like small dog who thinks he's a big dog. I love the way he plays, and he fits really well with Stahl and Martinook. Even from afar, what have you seen from his development?
I absolutely love this player. I still can't get myself away from this. I still watch the Hurricanes, even out west, a great deal. And I had a chance, as my two partners, Jen Bottrell and Darren Pang, were talking with Rod before the game Saturday night. The only guy I wanted to ask him about was this player. Some players just have it, right?
Yeah.
And it starts with a capital I. And that's what Seth Jarvis has. He has an ability to find a way to be a difference maker in virtually every game he plays, whether it's a face wash in the corner, whether it's a ferocious back check, whether it's a tremendous penalty kill, or these impactful shorthanded goals, these lifting goals like he had last night. He's now becoming a playoff performer. You can move him around the lineup. He has a ton of skill. But he also has this quality about him which might separate him from most players. Now, right now he's infectious. He's a little bit of a clown, which is good. The fans love him, and he can feed off the vets. At some point in his career, he's going to be an old guy. And when that happens, he's going to be a pro's pro. And young players are going to, God willing, he's healthy and he has a long career, but you can see this happening right now. This is a special player. He gets drafted in the first round because of his talent and the fact that he could, feast on weaker players in junior hockey and put up the numbers. But now that he's at the highest level, he's figured out a way that he needs to play. He's getting harnessed by Rod, which is good. But you just don't roll from one line to the next and be the same player unless you're really good. Hockey's all about, especially with the forwards, who you're playing with and how those players can help you be better. Seems to me, in a way, Seth Jarvis plays with different people and everybody's good.
Yeah.
So that he's a very important player, and he's still very young, so good for him.
22 years old. I told a certain someone yesterday that needs to get done in the off season now.
Mm-hmm.
8 years today needs to happen. Because if you wait, it's just going to get more expensive. That's the way these things work.
You can tell them I said so too, but I don't think that'll carry much weight. But anyway, you can try.
I'll bring it up.
Talk to me.
I'll bring it up. John Forsland is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, Vegas took Game 1 from Dallas. Should we be really wary of the defending champions, or is ultimately Vegas has issues that's going to be difficult to overcome, and Dallas really is the best team out there?
No, I never count out the champion until they're down and done. And so when you add the players that they've added, and you now have almost a $93 million payroll because the salary cap goes out the window.
Right.
But you bring Mark Stone in and Noah Hannafin, 2-year lineup, and Tomas Hertl, 2-year lineup. You put them all together, and you have a championship pedigree, a championship coach. The only thing that's weak, in my opinion, is between the pipes.
Yeah.
And I know that Aiden Hill was a terrific story last year, and maybe it gets back to him. Logan Thompson kind of battled his way through the season. He battled his way through that game last night. Those two guys right now, the way they're playing, are there to be had. So they're going to have to, outperform the goalies and bring the goalies along. And even their coach says, you know what, if we're playing the right way, the goalies will be just fine. That's okay. But you like to have the assurance of having, that position locked down, especially when you get deeper into the playoffs. But they were able to do it last year with Aiden Hill. We'll see where it goes here. Dallas is my pick. It was my pick in September. for the West, and I still think they're going to be really, really a tough out here. So I'm happy I'm going to do their game on Saturday night from Las Vegas. It's a great series, but the West is hard. The West has got a lot of challenges there.
My gosh,
especially in the first round.
Honestly, you could. The only team I don't think you can make a case for in the first round is the Kings. I think
correct.
The all the other series could go either way. I chose Winnipeg over Colorado simply because I do not trust the Avalanche in goal. And I actually don't like Colorado's depth. They're so good. They score so many goals, obviously, but they're so good up top and maybe their top two lines. But after that, I don't think they've got a ton. I know how good Cale Makar and some of their other pieces are on defense, but I don't trust them to all overcome Georgiev and net.
No, Colorado's got to adjust their team game in front of Georgiev because he's not very good right now. And they didn't want to do that in the first game of the series. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. Hellebuck is the best goalie. Winnipeg's goalie is the best goalie in the league this season, and they have an excellent defensive structure. You can't say that for Colorado. It seems, and you know what? It was a nice piece that Mike Rupp did last night on NHL Network on Nathan McKinnon defensively in that game in Winnipeg. He's got to be a leader. You know, if he wants to be, who he is, which is one of the best players and maybe the MVP of the regular season, he's got to commit to a team game defensively to help out the guy in goal. If they do that, they're going to have a chance because they can break the game open with their talent. But if they want to start trading chances and outscoring their issues, they're never going to give this goalie support. And he has no confidence right now, it appears. His play is way under the bar, and if they don't help him out, they're not going to get out of this round because I think we talked about in the regular season, Winnipeg is the real sleeping giant in all of this. They're a very good team that is snuck up on everybody.
Yeah, I love their roster top to bottom. Hellebuck is obviously great. It would be great to see Rick Bowness have a good long run. And you could tell like Winnipeg is almost like, at least the way they treat it, like Nashville of the North, if you will. But that scene outside the arena is just awesome. I think it's the smallest building, not named Arizona, in the NHL, like just over 15,000 people. But that looks like a great place to play.
It is. It's a wonderful environment, and the players realize that. And you're right. It's a great story with Rick and the health issues that he had this year, career he's had. But by and large, again, with Scheifele and Connor and Morrissey and Hellebuck, I mean, this is a team that has A-level talent, really good. And everybody knows it. But the first round is the first round, and there's more disparity in the East. There's great teams in the East. But for, like, the Hurricanes and the Rangers, there's no question. We're looking at round 2 here. I mean,
we should
no
be.
doubt about it.
Yeah, we should be. I think the Atlantic is interesting. I think the two best teams in the Atlantic are playing each other, to me. I think Florida and Tampa are the two best teams in the Atlantic. Boston and Toronto, I think, are both flawed. But the could be, Panthers or Lightning versus the survivor of Carolina, New York. John Forsen, I'm sure I'll run into you very soon. I will talk to you maybe sooner. Appreciate your time.
So.
Safe flight. Go enjoy Denver, then enjoy Vegas, and then we'll see you soon.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for having me.
The best. John Forslund. I believe I can use the term none better. I believe I can use that. John will allow it. He will allow it.
That's appropriate.
That's Hockey Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Also familiar. Interesting about his take on Seth Jarvis. I'm trying to not project too far and think about, how all of this. At some point, you are who you are. Your body is your body. He is 5'10", 185 pounds. He is a very strong and getting stronger player. But I watch Seth Jarvis, and I don't know where the ceiling is. I don't. Because think of what he did this year. He was about, I think I saw the numbers yesterday, it was 0.87 points a game, I think, or something like that. And I think we could all go back during the year and see pockets where he had like 10 games or so where there wasn't a lot of offense at all. And I think Seth's game is so well-rounded and full that I think as we go on and on and on in his career, we're going to see fewer pockets of no production from Jarvis. I think we're going to start seeing the production that we get from Sebastian Aho. I think we're going to start seeing that from Seth Jarvis. Maybe we're seeing it already, to be honest. But this is why I advised Tom Dundon yesterday in our conversation. Let's not wait. I'll tell you what, let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to do a rewind. And I realize we're a long way from the end here. From the end of what this playoff run. There are, to me, 3 priorities in the offseason for the Carolina Hurricanes. That, and we'll let Sean Hill, who was on the ice at Miracle at Molson, for Hurricanes fans, you remember that. And can you feel what's coming? The Hurricanes come back last night. Could you feel it back in 2002? All of that next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It is playoff time in the NBA and the NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your home to wager on any game you want. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 wager. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. Anything you want to wager on, slap shots, home runs, slam dunks, all there. $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you make your first $5 wager. Visit FanDuel.com, promo code AGS to get started. I can't make it any easier. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Must be 21 and older and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Charlotte this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 25 different sports. The Body Armor State Games features 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Harris Teeter, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Fair housing is more than just a celebration in April. For North Carolina's realtors, it's an everyday standard. For the 56,000 realtors across our state, we embrace and support fair housing to stamp out discrimination in all forms. As realtors, we believe fairness is worth fighting for, and we won't stop until the fight is won. Celebrating Fair Housing Month, North Carolina Realtors. We open doors to everyone. Paid for by North Carolina Realtors.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Hi, Darcy the Cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. Get a better looking lawn with Black Cow. Apply to your lawn as top dressing and get 10 times more nutrients than topsoil. Black Cow will feed your lawn, your flower beds, and vegetable gardens for up to 3 months. Oh yeah, everything grows better with sun, water, and Black Cow.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Did you and your family lose North Carolina Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
NASCAR stars shine at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. The NASCAR All-Star Race, Sunday, May 19th. Get your single-day tickets now and see NASCAR's best battle it out on one of NASCAR's most historic tracks. Country music phenom Warren Ziders rocks the pre-race stage, free with your race ticket. Only North Wilkesboro Speedway can deliver this kind of all-star action and excitement. The NASCAR All-Star Race. Get your single-day tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, why you don't want a quarterback?
Exactly. What is wrong with you? You don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
A la mode? Oh, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Sticking a little bit more to the Hurricanes, and this is basically this is built out of the euphoria of watching Seth Jarvis do his thing, because we had Tom Dundon and Justin Williams in studio yesterday. Justin said a lot of great things, by the way, about Sebastian Aho, who will be the future captain of this team. Jordan Stahl is the captain until Jordan Stahl's not a player anymore.
Yeah.
Right? He is the captain. I remember the year before Justin Williams was the captain. And I appreciate that whole thing came up with Dundon and Williams in studio, because I've talked about it before, about how it was possible that Justin Williams didn't even have a letter. It's laughable.
It is.
His first year. But we all know why, Bill Peters. But the way Aho goes about his business and all of the leadership qualities that he shows and his competitiveness. Also, you go down, you look at the when he scores his goals. Number 20 seems to score his goals when they matter. He's not McDavid or McKinnon or those guys. There's only a handful of those on earth. And frankly, there's only one McDavid, and even the next best are not him.
He's so good, he's just helping other people be awesome now at this point.
He should be outlawed. They should put like a weighted belt on him just to slow him down.
All right, we've capped you out now.
Yeah, you're done. Like a restrictor plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, anyway, but I mentioned Seth Jarvis and a contract to Tom Dundon. Seth's entry-level deal ends this year. So we're going to go into the offseason. He's a restricted free agent, and the Hurricanes will negotiate either a long-term deal or what they call a bridge contract. And my advice to Tom Dundon would be no bridge. No bridge. Go right to 8. Do it now, because the longer you wait, the more the price goes up. The longer, and he knows this, right? He's going to try and get the price as reasonable and manageable as possible, which is the job of management. Anybody that has ever negotiated a salary for themselves understands that. Management's job is to pay you less than you think you're worth.
Always.
Right. That is their job in every single walk of life.
Everywhere.
Except live golf.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not operating under those rules right now. So I get the team's perspective. They want to, in a salary cap world, you want to give yourself as much room as possible. Salary cap is going up probably to close to between 87 and 88 million, I think, this year. It's going up about $4.5 million. First time since COVID that it's jumped more than $1 million. It's basically stayed flat. So they'd love to get Seth to agree to a contract that's closer to, let's say, Andrei Svechnikov, which is 8 years, at the time of its signing, 8 times 775. No, that's not going to happen. So, the way Jarvis played this year, he has priced himself above that. When you consider the situations he plays in, penalty kill, power play, how important a player he is across the lineup, he's a lot closer to Aho than he is to Svechnikov. So that's pretty much closing in on the number you're going to see for Jarvis. If the Hurricanes bridge it, and they could probably bridge it for something significantly lower than, let's just say, 9. If they could bridge it for a couple of years, they do that, except that by the time you get to the end of that bridge deal, that number's not going to be 9, or it runs the risk of not being 9. That number runs the risk of being 11. And then that impacts you further down the line. So it brings me back to today. Priorities. Jarvis, long-term deal, a priority. Cost certainty over the life. You get the same thing from Aho. Number 2, Jalen Chatfield. And I say he's a priority because he's not going to be a high-ticket item. He's an older player. He's not as young as everybody thinks. Not like 23. I think he's like 28. Right? But he has hit his stride as a player. One of the reasons why Carolina can absorb the loss of Brett Pesce, if he in fact is lost for any, significant period of time here in the playoffs. I mean, worst case scenario is that he misses the rest of it. One of the reasons why Carolina can absorb this loss is because Jalen Chatfield really is top 4 defenseman good. Dmitry Orlov is playing like the guy who got a $7.75 million deal in the offseason. He's playing like that guy now. He is a top 4 defenseman who can log heavy minutes and play in all situations. So I'm not saying you're okay or better with Orlov over Pesce, but because you've got Slavin and Burns, Shea, Orlov, Chatfield, you've got 5 top 4 NHL defensemen that can cover. Chatfield's such a good skater, such a smart defensive player. He can play with Tony DeAngelo, who will almost certainly draw in place of Pesce, at least on the short term. So you've got protection there. I think Carolina will be fine defensively. They're not going to be better. You're not getting better without Brett Pesce on your team. You're just not. Brett is so good and so smart. But at least they have cover there because of how good some of their already, in the lineup players like Orlov and Chatfield can be. But signing Chatfield to some sort of a multi-year deal, 3 times 3, whatever it is, he can give you some offense. He can play in your top 4. And certainly, even if he's a bottom pair, because you've got Nikishin coming over in a couple of years, Scott Morrow, who we've seen. I don't know if Morrow's going to be better than Jalen Chatfield, to be perfectly honest. That's not a knock on Scott Morrow. That's really about Chatfield. And at some point, Brent Burns is going to stop playing hockey. He's got one more year. Next year is his last year. I'm not putting this on the list of priority because you don't have to, but Jacob Slavin is going to get a new deal soon. It may be after this season because he's only got one more year left. It may be after the next season, but I think Jacob Slavin will always be a Hurricane. And the other priority is the guy who scored the game-winning goal yesterday. I've had conversations that don't think the Hurricanes should sign Jordan Martinook to a long-term deal.
Wow.
No, because he's, he'll be, I think, in his early 30s.
True.
Even though the last 2 years he has been relatively healthy, his style of play does not lend itself to staying healthy.
Yeah.
But last year and this year, we see what Martinook can be when he is healthy, how he can stay in the lineup and impact the game in so many different ways.
He's so big on the team, even if it's just morale and mentality and leadership. And I don't know.
Very quick story. When the Hurricanes traded for Jordan Martinook before the 18-19 season, and I got a text from the team, hey, do you want to have Martinook on? And I'm like, who's that? They were like, we just traded for him. I'm like, okay, who is it? I've never heard of him before. He had played in the league. He was like 4 years already in the league. I had never heard of Jordan Martinook. You may say, well, that's on you, Gold. Okay, I'll take the 0. But I'd never heard of him. He was playing in Arizona, and he was really a depth player there. And you watch him for 5 minutes, and you go, oh, yeah, I see it. You're not seeing necessarily a great player, although these guys are all great players, and Martinook is great at what he does. But we've seen him now for 6 seasons. And Jordan Martinook is the culture. The culture that Rod Brindamore and Justin Williams and Jordan Stahl and Sebastian Aho, the culture that these guys have created, Martinook's got his name on that contract too. So he is one of the founding core members of this culture. And I think there is value just in having that. And hopefully he stays healthy. I don't think it'll be an enormous price. It will be similar to what Jesper Fast received from the team. And you may think that that's too much. $2.3 million for Fast. Because you're not getting any more than between 25 and 30 points, if that, from Martinook. But you're getting so much more. I mean, I think yesterday was that his, well, that wasn't his first point. We remember the series he had against the Devils last year. Those were, I think, his first 5 goals in playoff history. He hadn't played a lot of playoff games, obviously, until Carolina, but his first 5 goals, I think, in playoff history were last year. But he is just instrumental to what they are, to who they are, and what they can be. And again, to me, Jordan Martinook is culture.
Oh, yeah.
So where that money comes from, because the team is thinking about, we really want to try and re-sign Jake Gensel too.
Mm-hmm. And he's not going to be cheap, that's for sure.
Oh, no. It's going to, I'll be shocked. If it doesn't go to July, it costs the Hurricanes $10 million.
Yeah.
So it might cost less, if they basically buy him away from free agency than it would be if he goes to free agency. But I don't see him being less than Sebastian Aho.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not reading the room because he is a winger and not a center. Centers have a premium. They do more. But Jake Gensel gets on the open market, and highest bidder, that bidder is going to be 11.5.
Maybe he'll just fall in love with the area and us awesome fans and want to stay and maybe take a pay cut so we can keep everyone.
Look, more than anything, I think NHL players are more apt to do that. It's the strangest thing. And I shouldn't say strange in a bad way. It's strange in a good way. I think
it's loyalty.
I don't think it's about loyalty. I think it's about fit. I think it's about, I like being here. I like these teammates. I like this coaching staff. Rod Brindamore is an enormous seller. So I think it's about that. I think, by and large, hockey players are regular people. And that can work in a team's favor. Anyway, we're still basking in the glow and living off last night. Victoria, thank you. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.